Part 157. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1562. Xiang Nan wanted to give Feng Logui a surprise, but did not tell him that he had arrived in Sanya. Tan Shahen drove Xiangnan to the Banmushan Hotel on Renmin Road. The two of them walked into the lobby on the first floor, which was still empty. People in Hainan usually have dinner late, usually not until around 7 o'clock in the evening. It's only 5 o'clock now, and the sun is still very strong, so it's not time to go out. In the hall, there were two waiters setting up the stage. At the stage near the end, people from the Yongchengwu troupe had already arrived. Tan Shahen saw from a distance that Teacher Su and several violinists and drummers were standing on one side of the stage. Those who were tuning the strings and some were trying to play the flute. Teacher Su had already set up the drum and was beating yes, yes, yes. The dressing room was probably too crowded, so two people simply sat at the dining table near the stage, doing their makeup in front of the mirror on the table. One of them was Feng Logui, and the other was Xiang. When Tan Shahen saw a 2-meter-high platform on the stage, which was painted in the shape of a snow-capped mountain rock, she knew that Stealing Immortal Grass would be performed tonight. Seeing Feng Logui, he patted Tan Shahen southward and motioned for her to stand still. She bent her waist and walked forward close to the edge of the restaurant. Feng Logui and Xiang were putting on makeup and talking. Out of the corner of their eyes, they saw a figure approaching. They thought it was a waiter. Plus, at this time, the official business had not started yet. Except for the area near the stage, the rest of the place is dimly lit. Xiang Nan walked quietly behind Feng Logui, stretched out his hand and patted him on the shoulder. Feng Logui was startled, turned around, and stood up. Xiang also saw Xiang Nan on the opposite side. They let out a scream, and then saw Tan Shahen walking towards them. Xiang shouted Zhen, and ran over and hugged Tan Shahen. Over there, Feng Logui looked at Xiang Nan and smiled, asking, "Why are you here?" "I came to see you," Xiang Nan said. Teacher Su and others on the stage, as well as people in the dressing room on the side of the stage, heard the sound and came over. They quickly surrounded Tan Shahen and Xiang Nan, and everyone shouted Zhen at the same time. There were people who kept trying to straighten Xiang Nan's body, saying they wanted to take a good look at this future big star. Xiang shouted, "Did you see that our Nanan is getting more and more beautiful?" Everyone said yes. Tan Shahen saw that Su Jianmei had not put on makeup. She was wearing a black t-shirt and a pair of bloomers underneath. Su Jianmei's face was pale. Tan Shahen asked, "Jianmei, what's wrong with you?" Su Jianmei shook her head. Before she could speak, Teacher Wu came out of the dressing room at the back. When she saw Tan Shahen, she shouted, "Zhen, you're so good here, save the day, save the day." Tan Shahen looked at him in confusion. Teacher Wu said, "Su Jianmei started to have diarrhea yesterday and she had no strength. She finally got rid of it yesterday. If she continues to go up today, I am worried that something will happen and I am considering whether to Stealing Immortal Grass has been changed, but here, our Stealing Immortal Grass is famous, and many people come here for Stealing Immortal Grass." Tan Shahen understands, this Hainanese can't understand the Zhejiang dialect. If you want to talk about acting in literary dramas, they can't understand almost a word. But in Stealing Immortal Grass, there are not many literary dramas, mostly martial arts dramas, and the storyline does not need to be too much. Introduction: everyone in China knows it. In this excerpt, Su Jianmei plays Bai Sohen, Feng Logui plays the Deer Boy, Xiang plays the Crane Boy, and Teacher Wu plays the Antarctic Fairy. The most outstanding thing in the play is that after Bai Sohen stole the fairy grass, she held the Ganoderma lucidum in her mouth and did a backflip from the 2-meter-high stage to the ground. Every time she performed here before, Tan Shahen would win a piece of praise. Cheers. Tan Shahen knew that if Suji and Mei had diarrhea and weak legs and feet, it would be really dangerous when she did a backflip. Not only would the landing be unstable, she might be injured, but most importantly, if her feet were weak when she landed on the platform, if you can't kick hard enough, the height of the jump is not enough, and the speed of rolling in the air is not fast enough, you will probably fall to the ground. When many troops performed Stealing Immortal Grass, they secretly cancelled the scene because the actors were not capable enough, or lowered the height of the stage by more than half, allowing Bai Sohan to do a cartwheel and get off the stage. In this way, the safety is improved, but the excitement is also lost. In Yongchengwu opera troupe Stealing Immortal Grass, generations of white snakes have appeared this way, and Suji and Mei is no exception. Teacher Wu opened her mouth to beg, and Suji and Mei also clasped her hands and bowed to her. Tan Shahen turned her head and looked at the stage, and quickly waved her hands and said, "No, no, I haven't practiced Kung Fu for several years, and my bones are getting old. The foundation is still there, you can definitely do it, Zhen Zhen." Teacher Wu said that people around her were also encouraging her, and Tan Shahen couldn't refuse her kindness. She said, "I'll go up and take a look first." Everyone got on the stage. Tan Shahen took off her high heels and walked barefoot on the 2-meter-high stage. She stood on the edge of the stage and looked down. She felt timid in her heart. She immediately knew that it would not work and her calves were trembling. This has never happened before. Tan Shahen came down from the stage and told Teacher Wu with a grimace, "I can't do it anymore. I'm scared. I will definitely fail in the performance." Teacher Wu sighed. He knew that when performing this play, if the actor has stage fright and lacks self-confidence, he will definitely be in danger. "I can try," Xiang Nan said. Everyone looked at her. Xiang Nan smiled and said, "I practice every day, and my bones have not aged." Xiang also shouted, "Yes, yes, Nanan can, Nanan can." Teacher Wu looked at Tan Shahen, who didn't say anything. Teacher Wu looked at Feng Logui again. Feng Logui turned around and looked at Xiang Nan. Xiang Nan rubbed his body against him and said, "Dad, don't worry, I won't embarrass you." Feng Logui said, "Okay, let's try it." Xiang Nan wore a pair of sneakers and didn't need to take them off. She walked up to the high platform, stretched her head to look down, and estimated the height. She turned around and turned her back to the audience while mentally reciting the essentials, speed, and time of the movements. Feng Logui and Teacher Wu quickly stood on either side of the stage, one on each side, so that they could protect them if something went wrong when they turned south. Everyone looked at Xiang Nan on the high platform with bated breath. They saw her falling back, lightly kicking her feet, her figure flashed in the air, and landed steadily on the ground. She stood there, motionless, everyone couldn't help but applaud. Teacher Su shouted, "Okay, Zhen Zhen, Nanan, with these 2 moves, you are no worse than you were back then. You can definitely pass the test." Teacher Wu asked, "Nanan, do you still remember the lyrics of Stealing the Immortal Grass?" Xiang Nan said that there are some places that may be a little blurry. Teacher Wu clapped his hands and called to Feng Logui and Xiang, "Come on, don't put on makeup yet, let's help Nanan go through it together." Feng Logui and Xiang figured it out. It turned out that the scene was when Bai Sohan appeared on the high platform. Lutong and Hitong both somersaulted from both sides of the stage to the middle of the stage. Then looking at the high stage, Bai Sohan came from when they got off the stage, the 3 people started fighting. Feng Logui made a temporary change and changed it to doing a somersault first and looking around. When Bai Sohan appeared on the high platform, he lurked under the high platform. It seemed that he was waiting to catch her, but in fact he wanted to go south. There is protection. Then Xiang came out with a somersault, put on a pose, and looked at the high platform. When Bai Sohan came down from the high platform with a somersault, It turned out that Lutong and Hitong were attacking Bai Sohan together, but now they were attacking Bai Sohan one after another. Okay, let's play it like this. Nan Nan, please pay attention to safety, Teacher Wu said. Xiang Nan nodded on the high platform. The entire excerpt lasted 12 minutes and was completed in one go. Except for 2 places in the middle where Xiang Nan couldn't remember the words, everything else was perfect. Teacher Wu said, okay, Xiang, please come closer to Nanan. You have also played Bai Sohan. When she forgot. I know, Teacher Wu, I will give Nanan a hint, Xiang said. Sitting down and continuing to put on makeup, Tan Shahan helped Xiang Nan put it on. While she was doing it, she hummed Bai Sohan's lyrics and explained to Xiang Nan what should be paid attention to deepen her impression. Tan Shahan stood there and felt Xiang Nan, who was sitting there, holding her feet with his feet and gently holding her waist with his hands. Tan Shahan was almost in tears. She felt that her clingy daughter seemed to be back again. After putting makeup on Xiang Nan, she put on Bai Sohan's headdress and Bai Sohan's white clothes. Looking at Xiang Nan, Tan Shahan was stunned. She felt that Xiang Nan's appearance was even more beautiful than her own back then. Su Jianmei saw it from the side and joked, "Oh, Nanan, you two, mother and daughter, look so good looking, why don't you give me a way to survive?" Teacher Wu looked at it and shook his head. He said, "This is to get popular. There is really nothing we can do about it." The performance officially started, and sure enough, when Xiang Nan somersaulted down from the high platform, the diners screamed in surprise, and when he looked up again, the crowd cheered. Then, when Xiang Nan opened his voice was high and clear. Everyone was shocked and couldn't help but applaud. Xiang Nan's voice was very penetrating, passing through the entire noisy hall full of diners, causing diners who were sitting far away to stand up and look this way, and then left their seats one after another and came closer. In front of the stage, a circle of people gathered in front of the stage. When the performance of Stealing Immortal Grass was over, everyone applauded one after another, and many people shouted together to do it again. This has never happened before on such an occasion. This kind of performance at a dinner party is meant to add to the fun. It can be said that no one cares about what you perform. Unexpectedly, everyone took it seriously this time. Unwilling to give up, must do it again. Originally, according to their arrangement, they split the White Snake into several excerpts, but the order was chaotic. They first used Stealing Immortal Grass to attract people, and then Meeting on a Broken Bridge. Unexpectedly, they couldn't follow it up. Well, Xiang husband and the others were preparing to move the high platform a little bit, and the people below applauded and shouted in unison. "Stealing Immortal Grass, Stealing Immortal Grass." Teacher Wu asked Xiang Nan, "Is it okay?" Xiang Nan nodded and said, "Yes, Teacher Wu." Teacher Wu said, "Okay, let's play Stealing Immortal Grass again." After the performance, Xiang Nan, led by Teacher Wu, went on stage to take 3 curtain credits. For the last time, Teacher Wu said to the audience below, "The person who plays Bai Sohan today is our special guest, Feng Xiangnan, a student from Beijing Film Academy." There was thunderous cheers below. Tan Shahan stood behind the crowd, staring at Xiang Nan on the stage, tears rolling down her eyes. "Thank you to Standby Time, Hurricane 0669, Wooden Man, WXD 121, No Penetration, and Zi Zhang for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1563. The late night snack is from 10:30 to 12 o'clock in the evening. The late night snack is on the roof of Banmushan Hotel. There is no dressing room on the roof. Su Jianmei, Feng Logui, and the others need to put on makeup in the box downstairs. Then go upstairs. Tan Shahan was doing makeup on Xiang Nan. Cao Minfang and Lao Xie came. Tan Shahen asked strangely, "Why are you here?" This time, Tan Shahen mainly accompanied Xiongnan to see Feng Logui, so she did not call Lao Xie to tell him. Lao Xie must have learned from Cao Minfang that she had arrived in Sanya. Lao Xie smiled and said, "I know you have arrived in Sanya, how could I not come over?" Cao Minfang said, "I don't even know if I don't know. Xiangnan's performance has become a sensation. Don't forget Mr. Tan. Like you, I am also an actor. I am anxious to come and see it." When the performance of Stealing Immortal Grass at the late-night venue started, it caused a sensation again. At the request of the audience below, it was performed twice. Tan Shahen, Lao Xie, and Cao Minfang stood there and watched. When Xiangnan spoke, Lao Xie said that half of Sanya could hear this sound. Cao Minfang smiled and said, "This can really attract business for us." Tan Shahen thought about it, and said to Cao Minfang, "Mr. Cao, when the performance is over, can you please trouble the chef and waiters to work overtime? I would like to treat the troupe to dinner." Cao Minfang said that there is no need to work overtime. This place will not end until 3 or 4 in the morning. At this time, I am afraid that the seats in the back have been booked early. In this way, how about I let them open 3 private rooms below and eat in the private rooms? Tan Shahen said, "Yes, you can help me arrange the dishes. Mr. Tan is treating me to a treat." "Xiao Cao, you are willing to spend the money," Lao Xie said from the side. Tan Shahen smiled and said, "Yes, yes, I will give them all the good ones." Cao Minfang said, "I understand." Cao Minfang went downstairs to make arrangements, but Tan Shahen and Lao Xie were still on the roof. On the stage, Huatio Yutai was already being performed, which was a literary opera. Teacher Wu asked Xiangnan to go down to rest and replace Suji and Mei on the stage. Tan Shahen and Lao Xie retreated to the elevator entrance and found 2 chairs in the waiting area to sit down. Lao Xie and Tan Shahen talked about the situation in Hainan. Lao Xie said that after the new year, he plans to start a project in Sanya and Haikan first, so that in the second half of the year, their Hainan branch will have projects to launch. As soon as these 2 projects are launched, he will be here in Hainan. There will be funds coming in, and there is no need to rely entirely on blood transfusions from the head office. Lao Xie and Tan Shahen said. "I discussed it with Mr. Han that day. We felt that the east coast of Hainan has been too hot now. The land acquired on the east coast now has limited room for value added, but almost no one has gone to the west coast. Everyone is shaking their heads. They are all crowded in the areas of Sanya, Qiangai, Wanning and Wenchang. Even Lingshui almost has no coastline. But in fact, on the west line, like Dongfang, Changjiang, and Beimajing, the coastline is very beautiful and the sea view, the beach and beaches are both very good and will definitely have great potential in the future. Our idea is that we will not compete with them on the eastern front and focus on the western front." Tan Shahen said, "Yes, we have more than 30 projects on the eastern front, which is enough for us to develop one by one. In addition, I am also worried that after the surge, there will be a wave of plummets. The eastern front has indeed risen a bit too much. The international tourism island after the concept is hyped, there should be a decline on the eastern front, and it cannot remain so prosperous forever." Mr. Han means the same thing, Lao Xie said. He said that regardless of the east or west line, most of the home buyers must be from the mainland. The real demand for steel in Hainan is in the middle line, which is also the most densely populated. When they come to the western front, we will retreat to the middle line, so that we can always be one step ahead of them. Tan Shahen said, "Yes, I agree with your plan." Cao Minfang came upstairs and saw them. Cao Minfang and Tan Shahen said, "The arrangements have been made. Why don't you go sit in the box?" Tan Shahen said, "Yes." She pointed to the stage, and Cao Minfang immediately said, "I will notify them." Tan Shahen nodded. After the performance, everyone came down and started removing makeup in the box. Teacher Wu, Teacher Su, Feng Logui, Xiang, Su Jianmei, Xiang Nan, Lao Xie, Cao Minfang, and Tan Shehen were in the same box. Tan Shehen went to the other two private rooms first and told everyone that everyone can come and eat. You can add whatever you want to eat and order what you want to drink. Anyway, there won't be a performance until tomorrow night. It's just like when we went on tour before, it's noisy. An all-nighter is okay. Those people shouted, "Don't worry, Zhen, we won't be polite. Anyway, you don't have enough to eat, so we won't eat for free." Tan Shehen laughed and said, "Okay, it's best if you eat me up and go bankrupt." After saying hello to both boxes, and before they returned to their own box and sat down, Teacher Wu said to Tan Shehen, "Zhen, we have already agreed that when you are in Sanya, Nanan will come here to perform every day." Tan Shehen smiled and said, "No problem, as long as Nan is willing." Su Jianmei said with a bitter face, "Fortunately, Nan is only temporary. If she stays in the troupe for a long time, will I be ostracized by Nan after being ostracized by you, Tan Shehen? You mother and daughter are too bullying." Everyone laughed. Tan Shehen sat down in her seat. She introduced Lao Xie to Teacher Wu, Feng Logui, and others, and told them that this is the general manager of our Hainan branch. If you have any difficulties in Hainan, you can call him directly. As soon as Tan Shehen finished speaking, Cao Minfang said, "There is no difficulty. If there is any difficulty, I can solve it here. Mr. Zhang has explained it?" Teacher Wu smiled and said, "Yes, we are here, and Mr. Cao takes good care of us. We enjoy the treatment that we have never had before when we go out to perform. Everyone is reluctant to go back every time. We were together in the past, and I know how difficult it is for people in the troupe to go out," Cao Minfang said. Everyone remembered that Cao Minfang used to sing in the flower drum opera, so she had to perform a part. Cao Minfang couldn't refuse, so she stood up and pulled Lao Xie, a fellow fan, up as well, and the two of them performed a part of chopping woodcutter with bangs. Next came Xiang and Su Jianmei, then Xiang Nan, and finally Tan Shehen couldn't refuse. She got up and sang a section. After singing and sitting down, Tan Shehen's eyes were wet. She said that it had been a long time since she had been with the troupe. "Sometimes I really think about the past." Cao Minfang listened and nodded repeatedly. She said, "It feels like the days on stage go by very quickly, but the days off stage are really difficult." Xiang patted Su Jianmei on the shoulder and said, "There is another one here, the director's wife. She has been transferred to the library, but she didn't work for 2 months and came back again." "Oh, there's still this thing," Tan Shehen looked at Su Jianmei and said in surprise. Su Jianmei smiled and said, "What can I do in the library? When someone comes to borrow a book, I register it. The word looks like a chicken claw. I blush when I write it. I copy it from the book and copy the wrong title. I am embarrassed. I really can't sit in that seat, so it's better to come back to the troupe to save trouble." Teacher Wu said from the side, "For this reason, Lao Ding even approached the theater troupe and wanted me to do the work of Jianmei. In the end, he was scolded by Teacher Wu." Su Jianmei said with a smile, "He went back and learned from me." Teacher Wu said that other people came to poach our troupe, but we had no choice. Your cultural bureau also came to poach, and you still can you sleep well? Old Ding was so scared that he never dared to go again. Everyone laughed. Xiang Nan asked, "I have been in the troupe since I was a child, and I have seen just such a few people in the troupe. How come it is still there now? Aren't there any young people coming in? Aunt Jianmei, you can't be 60 or 70 years old and still play Bai Sohen. Are you still playing Bai Sohen? Stealing immortal grass?" Xiang Nan's words made everyone lower their heads. Su Jianmei said quietly, When I'm 60 or 70 years old, I'm afraid I won't even know if the troupe is still around. Teacher Wu sighed and said, where can we find newcomers? Although the salary of this drama actor is not high, the requirements are not low. Without several years of childlike skills, he can't even get on the stage. Now, there are not even student classes in the troupe. If there is no more, how can there be any young people coming out? Xiang said, it's useless even if there are student classes. Today's children, whoever comes to learn drama or learn to be a chef will have more potential than acting. Lao Gui and I both came from the countryside. At that time, how difficult is it to get into the student class? Why? Once you get into the student class, your household registration will be solved. From an agricultural household registration to a residential household registration, this is the way out. Yes, at that time, the only way to obtain a household registration was to go to college, be recruited by a sports school, be recruited by an acrobatic troupe or a theater troupe, and even join the army. You had to do so before you could transfer your household registration and become the squad leader and platoon leader returned from demobilization and became farmers as usual. At that time, we were admitted to the theater troupe student class, but the whole commune was a sensation. Others were extremely envious, so they said we could eat from the public family. Feng Logui also said from the side. Teacher Wu smiled and said, don't talk about you. At that time, when we went to recruit students, we all looked like big shots. When we were having dinner, the commune secretary and director personally accompanied us. The huakao is useless now. Xiang said, what's the benefit of joining the troupe now? It's gone. It's still an iron rice bowl, but this iron rice bowl is empty 9 times out of 10. We can't even guarantee a monthly salary, so why are we so strong? If it weren't for Zhang Chen and Zhen Zhen, our group would have been disbanded long ago. While the others were talking, Tan Shehen was silent. When they finished speaking, Tan Shehen said, Teacher Wu, Lao Gui, Nan is right. If our troupe continues like this for a long time, it will definitely not work. We still need to have successors. I think so. The student class of the troupe must be re-established immediately. This is the foundation. Xiang, if no one signs up to learn opera, then we will improve the treatment and increase the monthly subsidy for students in the student class to make it attractive. I'll go back and discuss it with Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen and I will bear the cost. We will pay to establish a fund or something, which is a fund for cultivating new Wu opera talents. With a formal fund, the money will not be misappropriated. I also told Yongcheng Cultural Bureau, this money is for the student class and cannot be used for other purposes. The money they should give to the troupe must not be less. Everyone listened and nodded. Teacher Wu said that if this was the case and the funds were guaranteed, the student class could definitely be started. Okay, then we've settled on this. I'll call Zhang Chen tomorrow. Logui, please come up with a plan here. Write down clearly the number of admissions and the approximate annual expenses. Zhang Chen and I will take a look. How to do this fun? Tan Shehen said. Feng Logui said yes. Thank you book friend 201701201935244134, for the reward I don't know even if you ask me. Thank you Zipanjiang 1, Shi Yitan, Chuan Lin, and Ermao for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1564. Tan Shehen and Xiang Nan returned to Hangzhou from Sanya on the 7th day of the lunar month. Zhang Chen picked them up at the airport. As soon as they got in the car, Xiang Nan chattered to Zhang Chen about her performance in Sanya. Zhang Chen watched looking at her. I felt that she had never been so excited before when she finished filming a movie or TV series. Xiang Nan took advantage of the break in the performance to learn a lot of new plays from teacher Wu, Feng Logui, and Su Jianmei. She shouted in the car. Mom, Mom, do you think I sang wrong? Xiang Nan started singing as she spoke, and Tan Shuhen also hummed along. When Xiang Nan sang something wrong, Tan Shuhen pointed it out to her. The two of them were in the back row, and while singing, Xiang Nan rubbed her body against Tan Shuhen. And for a while, his head tilted to one side, leaning on Tan Shuhen's shoulder. Tan Shuhen was always smiling. Zhang Chen looked at them in the rearview mirror, knowing that the mother and daughter had no feelings for each other anymore. Zhang Chen smiled. Zhang Chen drove the car to Splendid Home. Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan were also at Zhang Chen's parents' place, waiting for them to come back and have dinner together. As soon as Xiang Nan saw Lao Tan, he chatted with him about his performance in Sanya and sang the newly learned opera to his grandfather. Lao Tan kept nodding his head and talking to Xiang Nan. Explain. Nan Nan, you are an amateur, but you have reached a professional level. Your understanding is higher than your mother. Tan Shuhen made a cute cut sound, and Xiangnan laughed proudly. She said, Teacher Wu also secretly told me so. Both Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan laughed. While everyone was sitting and eating, Zhang Chen's cell phone rang. He looked at it and saw that it was Zhao Zhigang. Zhang Chen picked up the phone. Zhao Zhigang asked, Boss, where are you? Zhang Chen said, I am eating at home. Zhao Zhigang, have you returned to Hangzhou? We are almost in Hangzhou. Boss, I have something to ask you. I have something to show you, Zhao Zhigang said. Zhang Chen said yes, then I will arrive. You wait for me at the dynamic zone. I'll get off the highway and go there, Zhao Zhigang said. Zhang Chen said yes. Zhang Chen quickly took a few bites and finished the rice in the bowl. He stood up and said, Eat slowly, I have to leave first. What's the matter, Zhang Chen? Tan Shuhen asked. Zhang Chen said it was okay and Zhao Zhigang came to see me. When Tan Shuhen heard that Zhao Zhigang was looking for him, she knew it was an internal matter within their company, so she did not stand up. Zhang Chen drove to the dynamic zone and went upstairs. As soon as he walked into the office, Zhao Zhigang arrived. In one hand, he held a vest bag, which contained the chili sauce Zhang Chen liked to eat from home. In the other hand, holding a picture book. He put the vest bag on the coffee table, walked over, handed the album to Zhang Chen who was sitting at the desk, and said to him, Take a look. Zhang Chen took the picture album and took a look. It was very thin. It was actually a folded sheet of 4 pieces of paper. Zhang Chen opened the folded sheet. Inside was an introduction to the Zhongshan County Industrial Park. Zhang Chen looked at the industrial park and saw that there was nothing. What's special is that there are more than a dozen 4-story standard factory buildings neatly arranged, and there is a community behind it with 8 6-story dormitories. Zhang Chen held the folded page and asked Zhao Zhigang doubtfully, Why are you giving this to me? This is an industrial park in my hometown. The factories have been built, but not many people have moved in. I went to see it. Now, the rent here is very favorable, only 3 yuan per square meter per month, Zhao Zhigang said. Zhang Chen understood and asked, Zhao Zhigang, do you want to say that we can move here? Yes, the houses have been built, so we don't have to build them ourselves, Zhao Zhigang said. Anyway, if you build your own house, you won't be chased around by others. When you get to my hometown, there is a lot of investment promotion there. If we can't recruit, no one will chase us away. Zhang Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and cursed, Zhao Zhigang, is there something wrong with you? You want me to move the factory to your country? What's wrong with Zhongshan? Zhao Zhigang asked. What's wrong with Zhongshan? It takes more than 3 hours to get there from Hangcheng. So what? Aren't the orders placed by Sukioxen sent to the factories in Hubei and Anhui, but the factories in Hubei and Anhui will not ship the goods? The country is not closer than Hubei and Anhui. Zhao Zhigang asked. This question actually stopped Zhang Chen. Yes, why can't he go to Zhongshan? Zhang Chen said, okay, Zhao Zhigang, thank you for being so enthusiastic, but we will talk about this later. Doesn't it matter if we talk about it later? Zhao Zhigang asked. Zhang Chen said that he was right and would not consider moving to Zhongshan. I might as well go to Yongcheng to buy a piece of land and build a factory myself. Yongcheng is also attracting investment. It's closer than Zhongshan. It only takes more than an hour, Zhang Chen said. Okay, then you can go to Yongcheng, Zhao Zhigang said, as long as I don't have to be rushed here and there anymore. I'm tired of being chased. As soon as a place stabilizes, I have to change it. Just after it stabilizes, I have to change it, need to move. You think I want to, Zhang Chen said, to Yongcheng, that is to say, this matter is not so urgent now. You asked me to think about it again, which really pissed me off. You are right. I won't move, I'll just be a thorn in the side and see what they can do to me. Zhao Zhigang shook his head. Zhang Chen asked curiously, why are you shaking your head? You can't be a nail biter, Zhao Zhigang said. Why? You're so talkative. People who are hard to talk to are the ones who are hired to be the boss. You are thin-skinned and you don't know how to act like a rogue. How can you be the boss? Zhao Zhigang said, if you can be the boss, nail household, that's fine. What's so good about a nail house? Zhang Chen asked. It's making money. We have been demolished so many times. If you were to be a deadlock every time, we don't know how much money we can make, Zhao Zhigang said. Zhang Chen was dumbfounded by Zhao Zhigang, and was extremely irritable. He said, Zhao Zhigang, do you want me to treat you to dinner? If so, I will call Kaidi. If not, you can go back to the factory. Zhao Zhigang sighed and said, no, I'd better go back to the factory to eat. Zhao Zhigang stood up and walked out of the door. Zhang Chen picked up the folded page on the table, shook his head, and threw it into the wastebasket. He would definitely not consider Zhongshan. Even if he went to Haining, Fuang, Tonglu, or even returned to Yongcheng, it would be better than moving. It's convenient to go to such a far-away country, but you need to know that if you go past Zhongshan, you will almost leave Jiangxi. I'm not the Red Army's Long March, Zhang Chen thought to himself. There is no airtight wall in this world, especially during the Spring Festival, a time when people intensively visit relatives and friends to eat and drink. It is a good time for gossip to spread quickly. After just one Spring Festival, the news that Secretary Chiu and Director Zheng said that Jasa village, which was still in the confidential stage, would be evacuated and relocated as a whole, not only spread to the entire Jasa village, but also to the people left behind in Zhang Chen's factory. The staff also knew. Seeing that the rumors were rampant, the district simply decided to announce the news early. Anyway, you can't avoid the dissatisfaction and contradictions that you should have, and it is already a certainty to move out of the village and change residence. Therefore, before the first month of the year, the Hangzhou city government's decision to evacuate Jasa village and relocate it was plastered all over Jasa village. The most direct impact it brought was that no one rented the villagers' houses. In the past, almost every household has a house for rent, to college students who are studying in university towns and do not want to live in student dormitories, and to workers who work in development zones. House rental turned out to be a very important source of income for the villagers. When no one rented the house, everyone came to Secretary Chiu and Director Zheng and chatted all day long, making them very noisy. Then, everyone woke up and suddenly stopped coming to see them. Instead, they started to renovate their homes one after another, installing safety cages, aluminum alloy balcony doors and windows, and all kinds of other things that could be installed, in order to get more compensation during the demolition. There are even professionals who come to your door to help you decorate. They don't need you to pay a penny, and they will help you decorate everything in place. As long as you get the compensation when the time comes, you can share the money with them. What's more, small saplings have begun to be planted in the vegetable fields. The farmers here are vegetable farmers. They plant trees in the vegetable fields in order to receive more sapling fees. Secretary Chiu and Director Zheng saw that the villagers were so busy that they were too lazy to care. Anyway, the compensation would be the matter of the collection and storage center, not theirs. What could be compensated, what could not be compensated, and how much could be compensated were all up to them. It's their business. If the villagers are dissatisfied, then let them go to the collection and storage center to get angry. There are many people and the public's anger is difficult to quell, so the collection and storage center will have to pay more compensation. Secretary Chiu and Director Zheng, their homes are also in the village, and they can also get more money, so why not? What made them feel strange was that there was such a big commotion. Why was there no reaction from Zhang Chen? Logically speaking, he should be coming to negotiate terms with them. Not only were they surprised, but the town and district were also surprised. The calls they imagined did not come in, and the resistance they imagined did not appear. What was going on? The mayor and secretary called Secretary Chiu and Director Zheng over and asked them, "Have you ever told Mr. Zhang about the demolition?" Secretary Chiu said he said it years ago. "Why is there no movement?" the mayor asked. "How do I know?" Secretary Chiu said. The town secretary sneered and said, "I know, because I have a backer, I'm trying to be a sure thing." When they heard that Zhang Chen was going to be a key household, the other three people were shocked. This demolition task has always been carried out layer by layer. The city suppressed the district suppressed the town, and suppressed the village. They felt that the most important thing was to suppress the demolition. The most difficult thing to complete is the demolition task, and the most fearful thing is the nail-biting households. It would be a big deal if Zhang Chen became a nail household. He was not an ordinary nail household. Not to mention he had a backer, but he secretly encouraged the thousands of workers under him to cause trouble, and the whole Xiaosha would shake 3 times. I'm afraid that by then, their mission will be impossible to complete, and they will have some troubles. Those who are trying to beat them also know why it cannot be demolished, but they will pretend not to know, so they will not offend them and cannot afford to offend them. People like you just slap on the butt of your subordinates one by one. If you want to offend someone, you are the one who offends them. Not only Secretary Chiu and Director Zheng, but also the mayor and secretary felt their scalps go numb when they thought about this. The secretary stood up and said, "No, I have to go to the district and report this serious situation to the district." The secretary walked out as he said that. The remaining 3 people looked at each other in confusion. After a while, the mayor came to his senses. He asked Secretary Chiu and Director Zheng, "This Mr. Zhang, when did he say that he wanted to be a key householder?" Secretary Chiu and Director Zheng looked at each other. Secretary Chiu said, "We didn't say he wanted to be a nail shop, and he didn't tell us either." "He didn't say?" "He didn't say, so why did he become a nail biter again?" the mayor asked. After asking, he also laughed. He remembered that the others did not say anything. It was the secretary who was going to report, and he was talking to himself. "Are you scared out of your wits?" the mayor muttered, and Secretary Chiu and Director Zheng both laughed. The mayor immediately realized that there was something wrong with what he said, and he said seriously to the other 2 people, "However, the secretary is right, and we should take precautions before they happen." Thank you book friend 20210410153124786, for the reward of 1 meter of fragrance, 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, and 2 fishes. Thank you to Guandian Electrical and Mechanical, Evergreen Yan Dadi, Lao Huang, Book Friends 201705190058378889, no future, just remember the original intention, Xiang J, standby time, Purple Po for the monthly pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1565. Tan Shahen came back from Sanya, and Zhang Chen used the spring festival period to help her make the renovation plan for the Yongcheng project. Tan Shahen fell in love with it at first sight. She said, "Zhang Chen, this community is located in Hangzhou. That is also first class, I think it would be a pity to put it in Yongcheng." "Why don't the people of Yongcheng deserve better?" Zhang Chen asked. No, this was supposed to be sold for 25,000 yuan, but when it arrived in Yongcheng, it could only be sold for more than 10,000 yuan, Tan Shahen said. "You can do it, Tan Shahen, don't be too greedy," Zhang Chen scolded. "Be careful when people from Yongcheng point at your spine and scold you." "Why are you scolding me? I am here to help the people of Yongcheng improve their housing quality and show them what is a community and what is a house," Tan Shahen said with a smile. 10,800, such a community and a house, am I going too far? Zhang Chen shook his head and was too lazy to pay attention to her. Tan Shahen took the drawings and left with a smile. Before leaving, she said to Zhang Chen that she would do it right away. "When the market opens, Zhang Chen, you should also go and show off. After so many years, you should also return to Yongcheng and show your face. Go away, don't hold me back when you kill people," Zhang Chen cursed, and Tan Shahen laughed. Tan Shahen walked out of Zhang Chen's office and came back. Zhang Chen looked at her and asked, "Why don't you leave?" "I forgot to tell you that Lao Tan is treating us tonight," Tan Shahen said. "Which old man?" "Brother Tan." "Why?" "For no reason, let's get together. Brother Lu and the others are back from Taiwan in the afternoon," Tan Shahen said. "Old Tan will go to Sanya tomorrow, and Lao Xie is preparing to work on 2 projects there." Zhang Chen said yes. As soon as Tan Shahen walked out, Zhang Chen's cell phone rang. He picked it up, and Zhao Zhigang shouted on the phone. "Boss, come to the factory quickly." "What?" Zhang Chen asked. "Boss, I have a guest here. For my sake, no matter what, you must treat me at noon," Zhao Zhigang said. "I have reserved all the private rooms in Tuxianjiayuan." "Why is this guest so proud of your mother-in-law?" Zhang Chen said with a smile. Don't laugh. You'll know when you get there." "Oh, let's meet directly at Tuxianjiayuan later," Zhao Zhigang said and hung up the phone. Zhang Chen looked at his watch and saw that it was almost time to eat. He stood up, walked to the door, called Xiao Wu, and went to Xiaosha together. Zhao Zhigang said it so seriously. Drinking was inevitable at noon. Zhang Chen asked Xiao Wu to help him drive. When they got to the car, Zhang Chen was still confused. He didn't know what Zhao Zhigang was doing sneakily, who was coming, and why he had to treat him himself, and for his sake. They had just passed the East bus station when Zhao Zhigang called again, asking, "Boss, have you come out?" "We have already arrived at the box." Zhang Chen said, "We are on the road and have just passed the East station." "Okay, hurry up," Zhao Zhigang said. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu arrived at Tuxianjiayuan Hotel in Xiaosha. Yemin, the general manager of Tuxianjiayuan Hotel, stood at the door. When he saw Zhang Chen, he said to him, "Mr. Zhang, Mr. Zhao asked me to wait for you here. Take you up." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "It's so grand, who did Zhao Zhigang invite today?" Yemin shook her head and said, "I don't know either. There are only 5 or 6 men, and they all seem to be from out of town." Yemin led Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu upstairs and into the box. Everyone sitting inside stood up. Zhao Zhigang and a middle-aged man next to him introduced that this is our Mr. Zhang. The middle-aged man came towards Zhang Chen, stretched out his hand and said, "Hello, hello, Mr. Zhang." After introducing each other and exchanging business cards, Zhang Chen understood who the other party was and why Zhao Zhigang had to give him a face by inviting these people to dinner at noon. Among the 5 people who came, the first to shake hands with Zhang Chen was the Executive Deputy County Magistrate of Zhongshan County, whose surname was Chiu, another who was surnamed Mu, who was the Deputy Director of the County Office, and one who was from the Zhongshan Industrial Park Management Committee. The Director, one is the Director of the Industrial Park Investment Promotion Office, and the last one without a business card is the driver. The people who came were all Zhao Zhigang's fellow villagers, and they were also the parents and officials of his hometown. Of course, Zhang Chen wanted to give him this face. After listening to Zhao Zhigang's introduction, Zhang Chen knew the whole story. It turned out that during the Spring Festival, Zhao Zhigang went to Zhongshan Industrial Park and left his business card for the staff at the Investment Promotion Office. When he saw that he was from Hangzhou Banmuishan Group, of course he paid great attention to it. As soon as the Spring Festival holiday was over, I gave Zhao Zhigang's business card to the Director of the Investment Promotion Office. The Director of the Investment Promotion Office called Zhao Zhigang yesterday and learned that their factory was going to be relocated. He immediately reported to the leaders, so they made a special trip to visit today. Zhang Chen sighed in his heart. The enthusiasm and work efficiency of this investment are really impressive. Deputy County Magistrate Chiu asked, "I heard Mr. Zhang is from Yongcheng." Zhang Chen is right. Director Mu immediately said, "Yongcheng is very close to our country, and we can be considered half of our fellow villagers." Zhang Chen is right, it only takes about 2 hours to drive from Yongcheng to Zhongshan. It's useless. Several people said together that Hangzhijing is now open and can be reached in just over an hour. Yemin asked Zhang Chen, "Mr. Zhang, can you arrange the food?" Zhang Chen nodded and said yes. Yemin turned around and walked out. After everyone sat down, Deputy County Magistrate Chiu said, "Mr. Zhang, your factory is really impressive. We visited it this morning. I heard that you designed this factory yourself. When we came here, Mr. Zhao even showed us. I went to the printing factory in the development zone. I heard it was also Mr. Zhang's masterpiece." Zhang Chen nodded with a smile and said yes, making County Magistrate Chiu laugh. "What a joke," we were all dumbfounded. County Magistrate Chiu said, "If we had known Mr. Zhang earlier, we would have asked Mr. Zhang to help us design our industrial park. It would look like a big industry." Zhang Chen quickly said humbly, "The functions are different. This is a single factory area. You can design it according to your own needs. I have seen your industrial park and it is also very good. There are all kinds of companies coming to the park with different requirements. Indeed, we can't pay too much attention to individuality and can only design it as a standard factory building." As Zhang Chen spoke, the director of the Industrial Park Management Committee kept nodding. Deputy County Magistrate Chiu smiled and said, "Mr. Zhang is humble. By the way, Mr. Zhang, your place is going to be demolished. Have you ever thought about moving back to Yongcheng?" Zhang Chen shook his head and said, "Not yet." Director Mu asked, "No one from Yongcheng has come to see Mr. Zhang? I know there are 3 development zones in Yongcheng." Zhang Chen said no, and they probably didn't know that, including all the years since I came out, I had no contact with my hometown. I started my business in Hangzhou and have been in Hangzhou ever since. I heard it. Mr. Zhao introduced it to us earlier. County Magistrate Chiu said, "Mr. Zhang, then we are the first to get there. The purpose of our visit this time is very simple. We want to invite Mr. Zhang and your company to settle down, go to our industrial park. Our industrial park was just established last year. I won't beat around the bush and just say what I have to say, okay?" Zhang Chen said yes, it's up to you, County Magistrate Chiu. County Magistrate Chiu said, our entire Kuzhu is in the middle and lower reaches of Zhejiang. I am embarrassed to brag about our country and say that we have any location advantages. It is a backward area and cannot be compared with the counties around Hangzhou and Ningbo. It's not comparable to places like Yuwu and Yongkang. In addition, the original industrial foundation is weak. To be honest, it is still very difficult for us to build such an industrial park. It is very difficult to attract investment. Most of the people who have settled in our park now come from Yuwu. Yes, land and rent in Yuwu are all expensive now, so come to our place. But the enterprises in Yuwu, Mr. Zhang, you should also know, are relatively small in scale. There are very few large enterprises. There are only a few large enterprises. They have no need to go to other places for development. Therefore, our industrial park is particularly in need of only with a leading enterprise above a certain scale, like Mr. Zhang, can we increase the popularity of our park. Compared with external conditions, we can't compare with others. To be honest, we can't compare with Yongcheng. But I can guarantee that our attitude towards the enterprise is definitely sincere and our heart to serve the enterprise is sincere. This is true from our county leadership team to the industrial parks below, I can guarantee this. County Magistrate Chiu said, and several other people kept nodding. Magistrate Chiu patted Zhao Zhigang's hand and continued with Zhang Chen. Well, Mr. Zhang, you can tell it from Mr. Zhao. I heard that Mr. Zhao followed Mr. Zhang when he started his career, right? Zhang Chen said yes, he has been with us when we were still setting up a stall in Sijiking. Mr. Zhao is very good. My factory is completely dependent on him. Isn't it, Mr. Zhang, we Zhongshan people can still do it, right? This is also fate, don't you think so? County Magistrate Chiu said with a smile. Zhang Chen was right, it was indeed fate. The dishes were served one after another. Zhang Chen asked everyone to eat. County Magistrate Chiu said, come on, let's chat while we eat. Everyone temporarily focused on eating food and drinking wine. After tasting it, County Magistrate Chiu said with a smile. I really can't believe that these all look like local dishes, but how come they taste so different when cooked? Everyone said yes, and they all said it was delicious, especially since it was so spicy. It really suited my appetite. After eating for a while, County Magistrate Chiu continued to talk about official business. He said to Zhang Chen, Mr. Zhang, we are here today not to ask you to make a decision immediately. This is too difficult. Relocation of such a large company is not a trivial matter. All aspects must be considered. Am I right? Zhang Chen nodded and said, the leader is right. We came here this time to show an attitude, County Magistrate Chiu said, and to show our sincerity. I hope Mr. Zhang will have the opportunity to visit our country. Zhang Chen said yes, I will definitely find an opportunity to go. County Magistrate Chiu nodded and said, before I came, several members of our team also discussed it. Mr. Zhang, if you like the factory building in our industrial park, you can have as much area as you want. Within 5 years, how about I give you free rent, and after 5 years, the rent will be reduced by half? Is this possible? Zhang Chen quickly said, thank you, thank you. Of course, if you don't like the factory buildings in our industrial park and need to build another factory like this in our country, we will also strongly welcome you. As long as you, Mr. Zhang, come, I will personally accompany you to see the factory. As long as you, Mr. Zhang, it's the same for the selected place, and we'll also charge half of the land transfer fee, how about that? Zhang Chen quickly clapped his hands and thanked him, saying that he would definitely go to Zhongshan. Thank you for your monthly votes from Lu, Wooden Man, Not the Impossible World, Book Friends 201808241246544421, Book Friends 201701130912185553, Book Friends 1611222135011799, and Book Friends 201811241834233518. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1566. Zhang Chen and Zhao Zhigang went downstairs and saw off County Magistrate Chu and the others. The three of them were standing there. Zhang Chen asked Zhao Zhigang, "You guy, who has been quietly communicating with them, did you sing this on purpose to let your county magistrate come and deal with it?" "My army?" Zhao Zhigang smiled and said, "They called me, and I just told them the real situation. How do I know whether the county magistrate is coming or not? To be honest, do you want to go back to Zhongshan?" Zhang Chen asked. "I'll tell you the truth, boss, what's the point of being rushed around outside? It's really better to go back. Look, the fox's tail is exposed." Zhao Zhigang shouted, "I just said go back, and I didn't say where. You can also go back to Yongcheng. That would be better than being chased away here all the time." "How are the people in the factory?" Zhang Chen asked. Zhao Zhigang sighed. He said that people are worried, especially those whose husbands work in Xiaosha. Some of them have rented a house outside. They are particularly concerned about where they will move. If they move to other places, they will have no jobs. Nowadays, there are fewer and fewer garment factories in Hangzhou. They are all considering whether to stop making clothes at all and go to factories to do other jobs. But if you work in another job, you have to learn everything from scratch. The salary is not as high as here, and it does not necessarily include room and board. It is not cost-effective." Zhang Chen also sighed in his heart. What Zhao Zhigang said was true. In the past few years, Hangzhou was full of garment factories, and there were also a large number of small processing workshops. The supply of sewing workers exceeded the demand, and the garment industry was booming. Therefore, Lu Changcheng and the others, what kind of Hangzhou-style women's clothing will be produced? Finally, this Hangzhou-style women's clothing has some appearance. Now there is no room for even clothing factories to survive. The face of this local government has changed so damn fast. When it comes to livable cities, all people start to focus on real estate, and all other industries must make room for the real estate monster. What kind of nonsense is this? Boss, no matter what, this matter must be settled as soon as possible, so that everyone can feel at ease and make plans in advance. Otherwise, it will be really difficult to manage in the workshop. If nothing else, some supervisors are also saying that if 8 or 9 the factory was closed, and it was hard to find a new job at that time, so they might as well go back early so they could spend the summer with their children and not come out this year. Zhao Zhigang said. Zhang Chen nodded, "I understand." At that time, in most factories in Hangzhou, workers still had to be detained for 1 month's salary. If workers looked for new jobs in August or September and worked until the Chinese New Year, they would be detained for 4 or 5 months. Month salary, this month's salary, if you don't come to this factory after the New Year, it will be gone. And when you go home during the New Year, who knows what will happen at home, whether you will be unable to leave after the New Year, or whether you will be taken away by fellow villagers to other cities in the coming year to do jobs that sound more attractive. Especially for those girls, going home for the New Year is the climax of an intensive blind date. If they fall in love, they will stay at home and start preparing for marriage. For workers, looking for a new job in August or September may mean that they will go home during the Chinese New Year and lose 1 month's salary, which is not cost-effective. The 3 people got in the car. Xiao Wu drove the car and took Zhao Zhigang back to the factory first. Xiao Wu asked Zhang Chen if he wanted to go upstairs. Zhang Chen said forget it. He was a little dizzy and went back to the dynamic zone to rest. Zhao Zhigang's eyes were filled with suspicion. He looked at Zhang Chen and asked, "Boss, are you afraid of meeting the workers?" Zhang Chen scolded, "Go away, I have nothing to be afraid of." Zhao Zhigang got out of the car with a smile and left. Zhang Chen sighed inwardly. What Zhao Zhigang said was actually somewhat correct. Zhang Chen was really afraid of meeting the workers in the factory, not because of anything else, but because of their inquiries. When they looked at each other, Zhang Chen would subconsciously feel embarrassed, feeling that it was his own incompetence that had caused them trouble again. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu went back to the dynamic zone. When they got upstairs, they saw Su Qiaxin, Xiao Li, and Ji Ling surrounding Xiao Hu in the yard. Xiao Hu also followed Liu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty, back to Hangzhou from Taipei. Seeing them, Su Qiaxin greeted them, "Come here and eat the pineapple cake brought by this dead little tiger. It's delicious." Xiaohu stood there with a smile and shouted, "Brother Zhang, brother Xiao Wu." Zhang Chen asked Xiaohu, "Where are you going next?" "I'm going to Kunshan tomorrow. However, brother Xiao Wu doesn't have to accompany me this time. Brother Lu and I will go together. He will also go to their branch there and meet those good friends from Taiwan. Let's come together." "Come back," Xiaohu told them. While they were talking, Su Qiaxin kept laughing behind Xiaohu. Zhang Chen was surprised and asked her, "What was so funny?" Su Qiaxin pointed at Xiaohu and said, "I discovered a strange thing." Xiaoli and Ji Ling also laughed, and Xiaoli said, "Mr. Polite." Xiaohu stood aside and smiled sheepishly. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu were confused by them. Xiao Li said, "Do you know how polite Mr. Polite is?" Zhang Chen said he didn't know, "Please tell us." Su Qiaxin smiled and held her big belly with both hands. Xiao Li laughed so hard that she couldn't straighten up. She said I couldn't even speak, so she asked Ji Ling to speak. Ji Ling told them that we discovered earlier that this polite gentleman even responded with "thank you" to weather forecast text messages sent on his mobile phone. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu laughed, and Ji Ling continued, "He immediately earned himself the nickname Mr. Polite, and you will also call him that in the future." Xiaohu's face turned red, and he said with some embarrassment, "I don't know who sent it to me. I always thought it was some friend who knew that I had arrived in the mainland and was kindly reminding me to pay attention to the weather." Xiaoli said, "China Mobile in Taiwan doesn't send weather forecast text messages." Zhang Chen laughed and scolded, "Xiao Li, you are also a talent, and you are also China Mobile in Taiwan. You are just like asking Taiwanese people on October 1st why you are not celebrating National Day today." Everyone laughed after hearing this. Xiaoli blushed, waved her hands and said, okay, I made a mistake." Ji Ling smiled and said, "You can also have a nickname, let's call it." Before Ji Ling finished speaking, Xiaoli went to beat her. Dinner was held at the Tuxianjiayuan Hotel on Yan'an Road. Lao Tan opened 2 private rooms. The friends who came, plus Lao Tan and Chu Tianlin themselves, totaled 14 people. 1 table could not be crowded, and 2 tables were too spacious. It's not easy to tell people apart. Chu Tianlin remembered it, and she simply asked the waiter to put the 2 round tables into a figure 8. In this way, although there were 2 tables, they were actually 1 table. 14 people sat down around this table, just right. Xiaohu saw Xiongnan for the first time today. When he first saw him, his eyes lit up. He wanted to sit with Xiongnan, but he was a little embarrassed. Chu Tianlin saw it and shouted, come on, Xiaohu, you 2 young people sit together." Xiaohu happily went over and sat down next to Xiongnan. He smiled and nodded towards Xiongnan, who also smiled at him. Lin Shuwen giggled. She leaned into Zhang Chen's ear and whispered, "Brother, Bai Bei has a competitor." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Yes, we can compete fairly." When eating, Xiaohu ate very little and didn't drink. Most of the time, he watched everyone eat with interest. He asked Xiongnan, Are you here for a visit? No, I was hungry earlier. I ran down to the market and just ate a bowl of pianurchuan. I'm working on my appetite, Xiaohu said, chuckling to the south. Xiaohu is very attentive. When he sees someone wanting to pick up a dish, he will reach out to push the turntable and turn the dish in front of him. He and Xiaongnan happen to be in the same figure-8 shape as Xiao and Su Qiaxin. Every dish when it comes up, he will pay great attention to put the food in front of Su Qiaxin first, saying that pregnant women have priority. Su Qiaxin smiled and kept saying, "Thank you, Mr. Polite." Su Qiaxin said it so many times that Wei Venfang was surprised. She asked, "Qiaxin, what do you mean by always calling Xiaohu Mr. Polite?" Su Qiaxin told everyone the origin of Mr. Polite. Everyone laughed, and even Xiaohu's neck turned red. Xiangnan also laughed, and Xiaohu asked in a low voice, "Isn't it stupid?" Xiangnan glanced at him and whispered, "No, no, it's very cute." "Oh, it's very fun." Su Qiaxin then joked about Xiaoli's question about China Mobile in Taiwan and Zhang Chen's joke about whether you would have a National Day holiday, and everyone burst into laughter again. Liu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, said, "Ask the Taiwanese people whether they have a National Day holiday." This is really the case. My friends in Taipei have encountered this many times. During the National Day Golden Week in mainland China, aren't there many tourist groups going to Taiwan? Really, many mainlanders will ask Taiwanese why there is no Golden Week during National Day. Everyone laughed. This is their first gathering after the Spring Festival. Everyone will break up again tomorrow. Lao Tan is going to Sanya, Han Jiaozu, Liu Bang and Xiaohu are going to Kunshan and Suzhou, Wu Ziyai is going to Wuhan, and will go back to the south in 2 days. Beijing. Everyone seemed to have a lot to talk about, the topics were endless, and the interesting things they encountered during the Spring Festival were also endless. They chatted and ate and drank enthusiastically until about 10 o'clock in the evening. Xiao Wu drove Zhang Chen home first, and then sent Xiaohu back to the M-zone. When they got downstairs, Su Qiaxin said she would go upstairs to work a little longer and talk to a few clients on the phone. The three of them went upstairs together. Su Qiaxin went to the company upstairs, and Xiaohu went to the training hall together to prepare for some exercise. "You can't slap me in the face today. I have to meet a client tomorrow. It's very ugly." Xiaohu and Xiao said it in a tone that sounded like it was a pity that they couldn't get punched in the face today. Zhang Chen returned to the room. After taking a shower, he was not sleepy. He went to the bedroom, took out Xiao Zhao's urn and placed it on the coffee table in the living room. He threw 2 cushions on the carpet. At this time, he saw, that day he showed it to Xiao Fang. The real estate certificate that he had conveniently placed on the shelf under the coffee table was still there. After so much time, it was covered with a fine layer of dust. Zhang Chen bent down to get it, but before his hand could touch the real estate certificate, he retracted it and let it continue there. Zhang Chen walked to the door and turned off the lights in the living room. He then walked back and sat down on the ground, leaning against the sofa. He wanted to have a good talk with Xiao Zhao and discuss factory matters with her. Zhao's Higang was right, things about the factory really needed to be settled as soon as possible. The lights in the yard below, through the glass doors and windows of the balcony, cast the shadows of the trees onto the ceiling, swaying, and the surrounding darkness was getting darker little by little. Hangzhou at the end of February seemed to be yawning. He also fell down and became quieter and quieter. "Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes at around 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you for the latest system news." Running with a smile. Lao Dibao Ei, Li Rujin, Book Friend 201711192342197749, Book Friend 201901042017583118, Book Friend 11963189776326411024, Frivolous, Lao Chen Tang, Robin Granite, Book Friend 2017050315261046 Book Friend 120-2111 Monthly ticket for 02207691. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1567. The next morning, Xiao Wu came to pick up Zhang Chen from Splendid Home and got in the car. Zhang Chen told Xiao Wu that they would go to Tan Shahen's place first. Xiao Wu said yes. Zhang Chen remembered and asked Xiao Wu, Su Qiaoxin's belly is getting bigger and bigger. What are you going to do next? Will you give birth in Hangzhou or back to Su Qiaoxin's hometown? Xiao Wu smiled and said, we don't need to worry about this. Her mother has already arranged which university the child will attend in the future. Chiao Xian said that as long as this child is born, he basically does not belong to us, but belongs to her mother. Zhang Chen laughed and said, that's not bad, it saves you the trouble. Xiao Wu chuckled, her mother will not reach retirement age in 2 years, but she is already going through the formalities for early retirement. When the formalities are completed, she will come to Hangzhou to take care of Qiaoxin. Zhang Chen agreed, then even Su Qiaoxin will belong to teacher Wang. That's right, so now every day when we go out, Qiaoxin eats randomly. She said that as soon as her mother arrives, we guarantee that we won't even have the chance to eat out. Her mother will definitely write out a big meal list for pregnant women. Until the day Qiaoxin enters the delivery room, Qiaoxin will not let her go when she comes to work every day, and her mother will send her to the unit. At that time, the hard days will begin. Having no conscience, it's not good for someone to give you food, Zhang Chen scolded. What's good? Her mother must give priority to nutrition and put everything else aside. She will make Chiao Xian eat until she vomits every day, Xiao Wu said. Zhang Chen laughed. He remembered that Xiao Zhao gave birth to Zhang Xiangbei. When he went to their house for confinement, his mother served him sweet crucian carp and pig's trotters every day. Xiao Zhao's eyes turned green when he saw the chili peppers. Guang, Su Qiaoxin's mother, teacher Wang, is probably even more powerful than his own mother. Zhang Chen could imagine that she would definitely consider what she eats for each meal, which is not only good for the pregnant woman, but also good for the fetus. If good is not enough, it must also promote the development of the fetus's bones and brain. She would definitely go online to find relevant information every day, which surprised her. Not only did Su Qiaoxin have to eat according to her recipe every day, but she was also forced to listen to prenatal education music and Tang poetry and song lyrics every night, hoping that the child would fall to the ground and open his mouth. Crying, but goose, 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 singing to the sky. Zhang Chen was extremely happy when he thought of this. Zhang Chen said, Xiao, just prepare to abstain from sex. When Qiaoxin's mother arrives, you will probably sleep in a separate room with Qiaoxin, and you will not even be allowed to touch her. Xiao Wu said that he was right, Chiao Xian had already thought of this. Zhang Chen smiled and said that she still knew her mother. While the two were talking, they arrived at Qiaxi Academy. Zhang Chen got out of the car and walked into Tan Shahen's office. Tan Shahen saw him coming in and asked, why are you here? Zhang Chen sat down opposite her and said to her, Tan Shahen, please transfer the Gentian power plant to me. Why do you want it? Tan Shahen was surprised. The mortgage is not as bad as what the bank wants. Why do you want it? Don't worry about it. I'll tell you in a few days, Zhang Chen said. That's right. Your lakeside oil painting gallery and clubhouse are both in Gentian power plant. Why didn't I think that that place should have been given to you a long time ago? Tan Shahen said, when do you want it? Let Zhao Jingjing and Yao Fen handle it. That's the procedure. Zhang Chen agreed to ask Zhao Jingjing to transfer the amount of money needed to you. How much money do you need? It's such a broken place that can't be developed. I don't know how you bought the pole at that time. It doesn't cost any money. You just need to take it. That won't work, Zhang Chen said. What's wrong, Zhang Chen? You're out of your mind. You want to settle the score. How can we settle it? Stop being so nagging, Tan Shahan scolded. Zhang Chen said, okay, then I will take it for nothing. Xiao Wu, take Zhao Jingjing, the company's license and official seal with you in the afternoon to pick up Yao Fen and go to the housing authority to go through the transfer procedures. Tan Shahan said to Xiao Wu, and Xiao Wu said yes. Zhang Chen stood up and was about to leave. Tan Shahan asked, Zhang Chen, what are you going to do at the factory in Xiaosha? Have you called Sun Ho? Zhang Chen shook his head. He said there was no need to fight. I was dealing with this matter. You are dealing with it, how to deal with it? Tan Shahan asked. In 2 days, when I've finished processing everything, I'll talk to you again, Zhang Chen said. Tan Shahan looked at Zhang Chen and asked in confusion, you mean, you want the Genshin power plant to deal with your Xiaosha factory? Zhang Chen nodded. This and that one can't be beaten together with 8 poles. What are you doing? Tan Shahan wondered. Zhang Chen smiled, I didn't tell you, I will tell you in 2 days. Go away, you don't like to talk, Tan Shahan scolded. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu came out with a smile. When they got to the car, Zhang Chen called Zhao Zhigang and told him, Zhao Zhigang, come to the company. I have something to tell you. By the way, do you still have the information on your Zhongshan Industrial Park? If so, bring a copy over, Zhang Chen said. Zhao Zhigang said, didn't I give you one? Zhang Chen said embarrassedly, I threw it away. More than half an hour later, Zhao Zhigang came in excitedly from outside. As soon as he came in, he asked, Boss, are you interested in our hometown? Not interested, Zhang Chen said. Zhao Zhigang was stunned. He shook the folded page in his hand and asked, why did you ask me to bring this if I'm not interested? Zhang Chen smiled and said, you are interested. Zhao Zhigang let out a puff of breath, I'm interested in something. Zhang Chen waved to him. Zhao Zhigang stood there, not knowing what Zhang Chen was going to do. Zhang Chen scolded, give it to me. Why don't you give it to me and keep it to eat? Zhao Zhigang said oh and quickly handed the folded leaf in his hand to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen opened it and looked at it. Then he took out a calculator from the drawer and calculated. He was calculating how many square meters each floor of the standard factory building above had. A 4-story building, how many square meters are there in total? After finishing the calculation, Zhang Chen gave the calculator to Zhao Zhigang and told him, you can also calculate whether 3 factory buildings will be enough if our factory is built. Zhao Zhigang looked at Zhang Chen doubtfully, but he still calculated. He took the notepaper on Zhang Chen's desk, took out a pen from the pen holder, and wrote on the notepaper while calculating, every time each floor of a building has its own workshop. After finishing the calculation, he looked at Zhang Chen and said, San Zhuang was very nervous. Zhang Chen nodded, I'm pretty nervous even if you think about it. Boss, what are you? Zhao Zhigang couldn't help but asked anyway. Zhang Chen interrupted him and said to him, don't you have some contact? Call the director of the investment promotion office and ask if it's okay if we want 4 factories and 2 dormitories. Upon hearing this, Zhao Zhigang quickly said, okay, I'll fight right away. He pulled out the phone number of the director of Zhongshan Industrial Park Investment Promotion Office from his mobile phone, picked up the phone on Zhang Chen's desk, and dialed. The phone was connected, and the 2 people chatted on the phone in Zhongshan dialect. Yongcheng and Zhongshan were not far away, but Zhang Chen didn't understand a word of their words. Zhang Chen looked at Zhao Zhigang on the phone, remembered something, and couldn't help laughing. When Zhao Zhigang finished the phone call, he told Zhang Chen that it was okay, there were still 9 vacant factory buildings there, and they said that if we needed them, they could give us 6. Zhang Chen nodded and said, Zhao Zhigang, why is your Zhongshan dialect so ugly? Why does it sound ugly? It doesn't sound very good. I think it sounds much better than your Yongcheng words, Zhao Zhigang said, unconvinced. There is no unified Yongcheng dialect at all. What is spoken in Yongcheng is Mandarin, Zhang Chen said, but in the past, the Kuomintang's military command bureau only spoke your Zhongshan dialect. Your Zhongshan dialect is quite reactionary. What are you talking about? No nonsense, Dai Li and Mao Renfen are both from your country, don't you know? All the radio operators in the military command bureau in the past were young girls from the country recruited by Mao Renfen from his hometown. Mao Renfen stipulated that when working, they always use Zhongshan dialect, so that when they talk by radio, others are eavesdropping and have no idea what they are talking about, Zhang Chen said. You lied to me, is it true? Zhao Zhigang asked. You won't check online to see if it's true. Okay, even if it's true, Zhao Zhigang said, what do you mean by asking me to make this call? I have already thought about it, Zhao Zhigang. I am not interested in going to Zhongshan, but you can go back, Zhang Chen and Zhao Zhigang said. What do you mean, boss? Zhao Zhigang, I remember the earliest time, when you were still running a tailor shop, you wanted to open a clothing factory by yourself, right? Later it was your master who originally promised to lend you money, but later he didn't lend it, so he didn't, it's done, right? Zhao Zhigang nodded. Zhang Chen said, you have been helping me for so many years. Without you, I wouldn't be where I am today. Zhao Zhigang, it's almost time. It's time for you to become your own boss. No, boss, it's just as good as it is. After working with you, I never thought about being a boss again, Zhao Zhigang said hurriedly. Boss, don't get me wrong. I went to inquire this time, and it's really true, it's for our factory's consideration. Why are you so anxious? I didn't say you shouldn't inquire, Zhang Chen said. I also know that you have never thought about being a boss, but now you need to think about it, and I ask you to think about it. Zhao Zhigang sat there and looked at Zhang Chen, not knowing what he was talking about. Zhang Chen said, I want to divide our factory into 2 parts. The one that used to do domestic sales, as you know, is getting smaller and smaller. I want to use it in 2 or 3 months to cover all shopping malls and specialty stores. After everything is stopped, only the e-commerce area will be left. I will let Xyli be responsible for this area. I estimate that 80 to 100 parking spaces will be enough for this area. Others, all the machinery and equipment in the factory, clothing and wedding equipment, cars, etc., as long as they belong to the factory now, you can take them all away. Moving to Zhongshan, Zhao Zhigang asked. It's not about moving, it's like this. A shareholders meeting will be set up in the factory. The members will be all the current supervisors and above. I want the equity distribution to be like this. You, Zhao Zhigang, Kaidi, and Zhao Zhilong, you will account for 60%, and 40% is divided between the 2 cents, Laofu, and the working class and other managers. Zhang Chen said. Zhao Zhigang was confused and asked, Boss, what about you? I will not participate. All the things in the factory, including the things I mentioned earlier, will be given to you, Zhang Chen said. Zhao Zhigang was shocked and shouted, that's at least more than 20 million. Zhang Chen smiled, that was earned with your help, so I'll give it to you. No, boss, Zhao Zhigang said quickly. What's not working? That's it, Zhao Zhigang, Zhang Chen said, I'm telling you, I've thought about this matter clearly, and I'll do it this way. Those managers, who are also shareholders, will be more motivated. In this way, it is also easier to manage. Also, if you only have machines and equipment, you can't start work. You also need working capital. In this way, I will give you another 5 million working capital. From now on, I will no longer be your boss. We will be brothers. Suki-oxen and the others will place all their orders with you first. I have already calculated that Target's orders can be expanded. Even if it is just Target, 80% of your production capacity can be satisfied, and there are others. So, Zhao Zhigang, you don't have to worry about orders. Just produce well, do you understand? You will be the boss of this factory from now on, and you have to be responsible for yourself. Thank you Xiaoyang 2005 and book friend 2019051421534839 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1568. Zhao Zhigang, what you have to do now is, first, confirm the shareholder list and share distribution. After confirmation, organize a meeting for them and explain the matter to them, so that they can have a bottom line and feel at ease. But please note that this matter is currently limited to your shareholders' knowledge, and we have not yet received a formal demolition notice. As Zhang Chen spoke, Zhao Zhigang nodded and said, I understand. If we let them know that we have decided to move, it may be difficult to discuss many things. You're smart, Zhang Chen said with a smile. That's one thing, but more importantly, relocation doesn't mean you can move immediately. What you get there is just an empty factory building, pipelines, circuits and so on. All have to be reinstalled as needed, and it can't be downloaded for several months. The other side is not ready, and people here are panicking, which will definitely affect the completion of the order. Zhao Zhigang is right. The second thing to do is to contact your hometown and arrange a time as soon as possible to sign the contract. Zhang Chen said, by the way, do you think the monks from outside are talented? Of course, that's not the case, Zhao Zhigang said. Okay, after you get in touch, I'll go with you and it's you who signs, so as to avoid any disputes in the future or if they want to default on the bill and you have no proof. Zhang Chen said, the company name can be called Kuzhu Benmuishan Clothing Co., Limited. This will make them think that we are still the same family, which is good for you. Anyway, in the future, you will use the same Target products when you produce them. The trademark of half-acre field. Zhao Zhigang said, this is the best. After the contract is signed, you can send Zhao Zhilong to take people there to make preparations. After so many relocations, he also knows what to do, Zhang Chen said, and Zhao Zhigang nodded. In the beginning, don't be lavish. Try not to buy new ones that can be used in the factory here or in the warehouse, including those that can be dismantled. 5 million is a lot less, but you have to be lavish. It's very difficult. It will run out soon. Zhao Zhigang, I have said something ugly before. Many people feel that they are the boss and have money in their pockets, so they start to swell and have to act like the boss all day long. Such people will fall miserably. I hope you don't want to be such a person, Zhang Chen confessed. Don't worry, boss, I won't do it, Zhao Zhigang said. It's okay if you don't. I believe you won't, Zhao Zhigang. Not only do you have to plan to live a hard life yourself, but you also have to make it clear to all shareholders. Everyone must be prepared to live a hard life for 5 years. These 5 years have passed and you will have a certain level of strength. By then, whether you continue to rent factories or buy land and build your own factories, I believe you will be capable. Zhao Zhigang nodded and said yes, I will talk to them. Also, I will send Xiaoli over in the next 2 days. Xiaoli knows a little about the garment factory, but only superficially. You can guide her, Zhang Chen said, and Zhao Zhigang agreed. Then go and get ready. After contacting Zhang Shan, set a time and give me a call, Zhang Chen and Zhao Zhigang said. After Zhao Zhigang left, Zhang Chen called Xiaoli over and told her about the demolition of Xiaosha. Then what should we do? Xiaoli asked anxiously. Reduce the scale, Zhang Chen said. I want you to close all the specialty stores and shopping malls. It's up to you when to stop. Anyway, there are still half a year. After you stop, you will focus all your energy on shopping. On Baoang, put it in the e-commerce area. Then where do our clothes come from? I will build a small factory in Gentian power plant, right next to the lakeside oil painting gallery, with about 100 parking spaces. I will combine it with the e-commerce department here, and you will be in charge of the small batches. You can make the styles yourself, and you can place orders for large batches. However, try to produce according to the customer's order and control the inventory. The factory also wants me to manage it, but I'm afraid I won't be able to manage it. Xiaoli flinched a little. I have never been in a factory. You haven't eaten pork, and you haven't seen pigs running, Zhang Chen said with a smile. When I was a salesperson in Sijiking, you still lived in the factory and didn't play in the workshop every day. You didn't know how clothes were made. Xiaoli giggled. I must know that, but I haven't done it myself. I want you to manage the factory, not to be a sewing worker. You don't need to sit on the machine and work by yourself. Xiaoli, you can do it? Qian can manage a factory. You also have the ability to manage a factory. It's not much harder than managing several shopping malls at the same time. During this period, you can go to the factory and learn from Zhao Zhigang, and he will teach you, Zhang Chen said. Xiaoli said yes, but there was still a problem. What is the problem? If the factory disappears in the future, what will happen to the delivery? Xiaoli said. Now, we go directly to the factory's distribution center to deliver goods every day. If the factory disappears, there must be a warehouse. Now, a day, more I have to pack more than 1,000 items at a time, at least 700 or 800 pieces of clothing, and what should I do if I don't have room to pack them? Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment. This is indeed a problem. The people upstairs in the M zone are usually only responsible for sales and after sales. Li Wei has 6 people sent to the factory's distribution center every day to pack and ship, which requires a lot of space. It should be at least several hundred square meters. Gentian Power Plant planned the location of the sewing workshop, but did not consider the warehouse. Even the fabric warehouse, Zhang Chen plans to share it with the design center upstairs. I'll think of a solution for this, Zhang Chen said. Xiaoli said yes. And Xiaoli, don't tell anyone else about this for the time being. Just go to the factory and follow Zhao Zhigang every day. He knows what's going on. Xiaoli said okay, boss, I understand. After Xiaoli left, Zhang Chen stood up, walked downstairs, drove to Gentian Power Plant, and got off the car with his sketchbook. The entire Gentian Power Plant still retains the original generator room, which was converted into the Hangcheng Industrial Museum. The original boiler and turbine workshops had long been demolished and turned into ruins. They were later leveled out by Lu Ligan and others. Became a public market. Past the Dazhong Market, the building closest to the Meisi River where coal was originally stored, that is, the building next to their lakeside oil painting gallery, was still empty, except for a small area that was used as an oil painting gallery. Of the vault, the others are still empty. Zhang Chen asked the security guard to open the locked door, and he walked in. The coal warehouse was very high, 6 or 7 meters high. It could be divided into 2 floors, and it could be used as a garment factory. He wants to design this place into an open factory that can be visited at will. If you are interested, you can see everything from pattern making, cutting, ironing, hemming, sewing to keyholes and nailing in the back process. Through all the processes of buttoning, ironing, and packaging, you can see how a piece of cloth becomes a piece of clothing. Zhang Chen wants to turn this place into both a factory and a living garment exhibition hall. The gate of this house, near the dock, used to be an open-air loading and unloading yard. Now it is a lawn. This lawn is 300 to 400 square meters. Zhang Chen wants to transform this place into a glass exhibition hall, Hangzhou-style women's wear exhibition hall. Zhang Chen used to hate the term Hangzhou-style women's clothing. He remembered that he once made such nonsense at a meeting about Hangzhou-style women's clothing hosted by Lu Changcheng, which made everyone very embarrassed. But now, I miss that era a bit. The person in charge was gone, and Hangzhou-style women's clothing had also declined. When it was about to disappear, Zhang Chen missed it. What he missed was the atmosphere at that time where the government and the people worked together to do the same thing. Just like the process of renovating the Gentian River and transforming the Gentian River into the Meisi River, and the scene of thousands of troops and horses working together to clear the mud at the bottom of the river, it is difficult to tell whether it is a commercial act or a public event, but the combination of the government and the people means to this was done, and the results were good. Although Lu Ligan's original intention was to develop real estate, Lu Changcheng also knew his intention, but by taking advantage of the situation, he could do something that everyone would be happy with. Nowadays, very few people would do this or dare to do this. Zhang Chen felt that this local government was just like him, and his life was better. To be honest, if he were to go back and help with buttons and packaging every day, he would seem to be less and less able to do such things, and he would not be able to do it. Now, I am returning more and more to the role of boss. The same goes for local governments. After they get rich, they are less and less able to communicate with their subordinates, and they even disdain to communicate with their subordinates. They are used to putting themselves very high. Nowadays, officials are officials and people are people, with clear distinctions. It is difficult for officials and people to work together to do one thing well. Officials seem to be becoming more and more like officials, and are more and more accustomed to issuing documents and making reports. The result is that you are increasingly confined to that building or compound. Isn't it that the government decree does not come out? You have isolated yourself and insulated yourself from the outside world. Who will be interested in listening to what you have to say, and who is too lazy to pay attention to you? Looking back on the entire history of reform and opening up, whether it is rural reform or enterprise reform, which time was it not bottom up? There are calls and demands from below, and there are even actions, and there are responses from above. This is how waves of reform are formed, and those number one documents are so popular. Now, how many people in society still care about what document number one is saying, let alone respond and echo it? Zhang Chen felt that although that era was short, it was worth remembering. The Hangzhou-style women's clothing seemed to him at the time to be a joke, but looking back, even this joke was sweet and worth remembering. Zhang Chen wants to build an exhibition hall of Hangzhou-style women's clothing here. He wants to recreate the feeling of the government and the people working together to do one thing here. The exhibition hall used to be their garment factory. All workshops are transparent. After visiting the exhibition hall, people can continue to visit the garment factory. Zhang Chen feels that not only clothing factories, but all factories in the future may gradually disappear from the city and become a memory of the city. Children in the city will gradually not only not know what is going on in the fields, but also no longer know what is going on in the fields. Know what's going on in the factory. It is impossible for them to stand next to a lathe or wire cutting machine to see how a part is turned out, as they did when they were children. They could stand behind the punch machine, their noses filled with pungent odor, and look at the rubber soles being flushed out of the punch press. Even more impossible, there are 1 or 2 classes every week where they have to help the school-run factory assemble compasses or globes. Thank you to Flying Bat Kgen, book friend 20210410153124786, reader 1297873838407110656, and the reward of 2 fishes at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you to Flying Bat Kgen, Zonkai 727, Kingchuan Zifeng, Tamagotchi, Jinwulanji, no future, just remember the original intention, Shiyo 1202111022076911, Shiyo 201901042017583818, Lu, Wu Taiji, Lao Zi, Shiyo 2019060613143335, Mingzin Seeing Nature, Looking at Landscapes, Taizongshang 1, Book Friends 201911021135467118, thank you for all the recommendation votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1569. Zhao Zhigang called Zhang Chen and told him that Zhang Shan had contacted him and asked us to go there on Monday. We could go there tomorrow to sign, but County Magistrate Chiu will not be there tomorrow, and Magistrate Chiu will also attend the signing ceremony. Zhang Chen said okay, then we will go on Monday. Zhang Chen returned to his office, took a pen and paper, and drew a renovation plan for the coal depot of Gentian Power Plant. Tan Shahen walked in from outside and asked, have the transfer procedures for Gentian Power Plant been completed? Zhang Chen said he didn't know, I just came back from outside. Tan Shahen said, I don't know either, I won't be here in the afternoon. What are you doing? Zhang Chen asked. Go and talk to Lu Jun in front of here, otherwise you think I am so free that I have time to visit you, Tan Shahen said. Zhang Chen was surprised and asked, why are you looking for Lu Jun? Tan Shahen did not answer what he was looking for Lu Jun for. Instead, she saw the painting on Zhang Chen's table. Tan Shahen pointed at the painting with her fingers and asked, what is this? Garment factory, Zhang Chen said. Garment factory? Do you want to build a clothing factory? A new one? Have you decided where to move it? Yes, Gentian Power Plant. Zhang Chen, what are you doing? Tan Shahen shouted, can Gentian Power Plant put down your garment factory? A small factory. Zhang Chen smiled and said that he gave all the equipment in the factory to Zhao Zhigang and his management staff and asked them to move to Zhongshan. He would only keep a small clothing factory in Gentian Power Plant to specialize in e-commerce ideas, and Tan Shahen said. After Tan Shahen listened quietly, she looked at Zhang Chen and asked, have you thought about all this? Zhang Chen nodded, I have thought about it, I have already discussed it with Zhao Zhigang. Well, since you have already thought about it, I won't say anything more, Tan Shahen said, there is only one thing left, and that is the issue of demolition compensation. I will help you negotiate this when the time comes. Zhang Chen said yes. He picked up the drawings on the table and looked at them. He said, there is one more small thing. I still need a warehouse. There is no room for Xyli and their e-commerce department's warehouse in Gentian Power Plant. Tan Shahen asked, how big does it need to be? A few hundred square meters, maybe. I have already freed it up for you, Tan Shahen said. You helped me free it? Where? Zhang Chen was confused. Tan Shahen smiled and said, what a coincidence, I came here just to tell you about this. It's right in front of you, Lu Jun's badminton hall, which can be used as a warehouse for you. It's big enough. What are you doing, Tan Shahen? You won't burn bridges like this, right? Xiongnan doesn't want to learn badminton now, so you just withdrawn the badminton club, Zhang Chen asked. Tan Shahen looked at him and cursed, Zhang Chen, am I, Tan Shahen, this kind of person in your eyes? The badminton club is still there. Not only is it there, but I am ready to expand it and turn it into a sports club. I asked Lu Jun, is to let him become the general manager of this sports club. What happened? Our Sky City Gymnasium and Stadium, as well as the mountain racecourse have been built. I am going to move this badminton club to Sky City as a project under the Sky City Sports Club. It's that simple, are you satisfied? Zhang Chen chuckled and said it was pretty much the same, but the road to learning football was a little longer. Why are you afraid of the long journey? Now the buses are open, and our company also has shuttle buses. You can take them. If you are even afraid of riding in the car, can you still play well? After moving out here, you can use it as a warehouse for Xyli and the others. Also, Lu Jun took me to the basketball gym next door earlier. He had a suggestion. I think you can refer to it. Tan Shahen said that. Zhang Chen asked, what is the proposal? Not many people come to the basketball gym now. Lu Jun suggested that you simply change this place into an experience hall to fully support the market below you. Only half of the basketball court is enough, and other rock climbing, billiards, table tennis, treadmills, mountain climbing machines, resistance training equipment, etc. If the merchants below need it, let them arrange it themselves, Tan Shahen said. This is a good suggestion, Zhang Chen said with a smile. It seems that Lu Jun has some business acumen. You made the right choice in choosing him as the general manager. Of course, he still has a lot of ideas about sports clubs, and he will tell you about them later, Tan Shahen said with a proud smile. Xiao Wu and Zhao Jingjing walked in from outside. Tan Shahen asked Zhao Jingjing, is it done? Zhao Jingjing nodded and said, okay. Tan Shahen said with a smile, this Genshin power plant is really losing money, and it has no benefits. I need people to manage it, and provide security guards and cleaning staff. The rent of Dazhong market is not enough to pay them wages. Okay. Well, Zhang Chen, I finally dumped this money-losing thing on you, thank you. It doesn't matter, Zhang Chen said, I have a way to generate income. What can we do? Tan Shahen asked. Zhang Chen said seriously, I can set up a toll station on the pier. From now on, I will charge all the people who get on and off your cruise ship again, or you will cover everything. Zhao Jingjing and Xiao Wu laughed, and Tan Shahen glared at him. The next afternoon, Zhang Chen went to Xiaosha factory. Zhao Zhigang saw him coming and walked into Zhang Chen's office with a piece of paper in his hand. Zhao Zhigang and Zhang Chen said that Monday must be down, and we should arrive before 11 o'clock in the morning. At 11 o'clock, there will be a brief ceremony. First, County Magistrate Chiu will speak, then you will speak, and then the director of the management committee will sign with me and you and County Magistrate Chiu will witness it. I'll go, Zhang Chen cursed upon hearing this. Of course you are going, didn't you agree to go? Zhao Zhigang said with a smile. I agreed to go, why do I have to go on stage to speak? Zhang Chen asked. Of course you have to speak. Are you a foreign monk or a great monk? How can you not speak when this great monk arrives? Zhao Zhigang said, anyway, I have agreed to this process. I'll go. Zhao Zhigang, you are selling me, you clearly know. I know you can do it, you are so eloquent, Zhao Zhigang said with a smile, or you can regret it now and not let us go to Zhongshan. Zhang Chen was helpless. He sighed and said, okay, Zhao Zhigang, I will let you sell it once. Remember, you owe me. When I go to Zhongshan in the future, you have to treat me to a good meal food. No problem. If you want to eat human flesh, I will cut off a piece of myself for you to eat. Get out, Zhang Chen cursed, and Zhao Zhigang laughed. Zhao Zhigang handed the piece of paper in his hand to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen looked at it and found that the first one was Zhao Zhigang and Kaidi, with a total of 30%, and the second one was Zhao Zhailong and his wife, also with 30%. 30. Zhang Chen frowned and said to Zhao Zhigang. Zhao Zhigang, you, Kaidi, and Zhao Zhailong are the veterans of this factory. Zhao Zhailong's wife has nothing to do with this dime. I told you that day, you three are 60% each. You don't even know what 20 means. Zhao Zhigang looked a little shy and said, I know what you mean, but Zhao Zhailong said that our two families each have 30%. You agreed. We are all a family, he said it. What else do I have to disagree with? Zhao Zhigang said. Where's Kaidi? Does Kaidi agree? Zhang Chen asked. Zhao Zhigang nodded and said, she also agrees. Zhang Chen sighed and thought, Zhao Zhigang and Kaidi are also loyal. Zhang Chen said. Well, since you all agreed, I don't have anything to say. After all, this is your factory, and it's not appropriate for me to say more. Zhang Chen then looked at the other 11 people, ranging from 3 to 6% of the shares, 2 cents, working class and Lao Fu. These senior management personnel were 100%. 6. This distribution is also very reasonable. Zhang Chen returned the paper to Zhao Zhigang and told him, that's it, you can just draft the company's articles of association based on this share distribution. By the way, is Xiaoli here today? Zhang Chen asked. Come here, she actually has nothing to learn in the workshop. Her hands and feet are faster than the average worker on the sewing machine, Zhao Zhigang said. Zhang Chen was surprised and asked, what, you mean Xiaoli knows how to sewing? Why didn't I know? Of course, Zhao Zhigang said, she used to live in the factory, and we worked overtime at night. She would play in the workshop every day when she had nothing to do. She was very fussy. She wanted to play with all the machines, even electric scissors. Zhang Chen laughed and said, he didn't expect that this stupid trick could come in handy now. I asked her to follow the 2 points and let her take care of the quality inspection, Zhao Zhigang said, and Zhang Chen agreed. Zhao Zhigang walked out, Zhang Chen also stood up, and he walked to the top of the building. It had been a long time since I had been to the roof of this building. Zhang Chen saw the T-shaped platform painted on the ground on the roof. Although the color had faded, it was still vaguely visible. Zhang Chen walked along the T-shaped platform, walked out, and walked to the edge of the roof. He stood there and looked at the Xiaosha Development Zone and number 1 road opposite. He thought that when this house was just completed, he had stood on the roof of this building in the same place. At that time, he looked at everything in front of him and was very high-spirited. He had stood here before when preparing for the fashion show. The models were still practicing their catwalks behind him, and their voices could be heard clearly. At that time, he was full of longing for the future. After Xiao Zhao passed away, he stood here, his heart filled with sadness, and he felt the bone-chilling cold from the inside out, but even in those days, he finally got over it. Today he stands here again, looking at everything in front of him, and all he feels is a sense of loneliness. In a few months, everything in front of him will still be there, and it is no longer possible for him to stand here again. This rooftop will disappear from here, not into the night, but into the eternal void. Gone, everything. Zhang Chen stood for a long time, the lights in front of him lit up one by one, and the surrounding sky began to slowly darken. Even if it was dark, it was not dark. This is a factory, and factories never sleep, no matter how dark they are. Even deep in the night, there will be lights piercing the darkness, unless this factory no longer exists. Thank you book friend 2019111009272514 for the reward. Thank you to Yuengzi, Fantasy in the Wind, book friends 2019010420175818, Lulu 6717P11, Baikan Scholar, No Penetration, and Clear Mind for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1570. Zhang Chen took Zhao Zhigang and Zhao Hailong to Zhongshan. After the agreement was signed, Zhao Hailong stayed there. After Zhao Zhigang returned to Hangzhou, according to Zhang Chen's instructions, he took inventory of the factory. Everything in the warehouse that could be used downstairs was gathered together and loaded into a truck for the working class to deliver. The working class took 4 or 5 people and stayed in Zhongshan after going down. Together with Zhao's Hailong, they began to renovate standard factory buildings one by one according to their needs. Zhao's Hailong and the others were working in full swing in Zhongshan, more than 200 kilometers away. In the Xiaosha factory, as usual, they were still working overtime every day to catch up on orders. Tan Shahen repeatedly told Zhang Chen that when it comes to demolition, whoever comes to them will be the first to be passive. Zhang Chen, you must not go to them. Zhang Chen smiled and said, didn't I agree to leave it to you? I'm too lazy to take care of it. Tan Shahen said, okay, you just have to be too lazy to take care of it, I'm just afraid that you'll take the lead. Zhang Chen and others continued to be silent here, but the village, town, and district levels became anxious. The secretary of Xiaosha town went to the district. After reporting to the district, word spread in both the district and the town that Ban Mutian had decided to become a nail household. After the news spread, even Secretary Chiu and Director Zheng of Jasa village were confused. They thought that Mr. Zhang had never said that he wanted to be a key householder, but it had been spread so clearly that either the district or the town, have you really felt the pressure, received the call, and learned about Mr. Zhang's intentions through other channels? The town urged Secretary Chiu and Director Zheng to contact Zhang Chen and the others. Secretary Chiu and Director Zheng took the demolition notice and went to Zhang Chen's factory. They gave the demolition notice to Zhao Zhigang. Zhao Zhigang didn't even read it after receiving it. Once stuffed in the drawer, he stopped talking. Secretary Chiu asked, Director Zhao, don't you take a closer look at this thing? Zhao Zhigang smiled and said, what's so good about it? It's posted everywhere on the street. I've already seen it. Then what do you mean, Mr. Zhang? Director Zheng asked. I don't know about this old god, Zhao Zhigang said. Anyway, if I don't receive a notice for a day, I will continue production. I can't stop here for a day. If I stop, I won't be able to complete the order. I don't care about the demolition, you have to ask Mr. Zhang. Then the appraisal company, can you come into the factory and conduct an inspection first? Secretary Chiu asked. You have to ask Mr. Zhang about this too. You give him a call, Zhao Zhigang said. Seeing Zhao Zhigang's attitude and these words, the two of them became more and more suspicious. Isn't it obvious that he was going to be a nail-biter? It looked like it no matter how he looked at it. Secretary Chiu bit the bullet and immediately called Zhang Chen and told him about the evaluation company entering the factory for inspection. Unexpectedly, Zhang Chen agreed immediately. He said, yes, Secretary Chiu, you can arrange it. The two people left Zhang Chen's factory and discussed all the way. They still couldn't figure out what Zhang Chen was planning. However, he agreed to evaluate the company and enter the factory. The next step was finally okay, so let's take it one step at a time. Director Chu of the Collection and Storage Center heard that Zhang Chen was going to be a key householder. He called Tan Shahen and told her, Mr. Tan, Mr. Zhang and we have been working well together before. Please advise him. Director Chu, what should I advise him? Tan Shahen asked Director Chu, not knowing whether she understood. Isn't it going to be demolished when he goes to the sand? They said it will be difficult for Mr. Zhang to speak this time, Director Chu said. Tan Shahen understood and laughed. Director Chu, are you worried that he will become a nail household? No, Zhang Chen will definitely not be a nail household, as long as your compensation plan is not outrageous. Tan Shahen's ordinary words sounded meaningful to Director Chu. He quickly said, Mr. Tan, don't worry about this. I know what I know and I will explain it to you. Tan Shahen smiled and said, I am very relieved about Director Chu, so I didn't even call Director Chu about this matter. Everything just followed the procedure. Director Chu, are you right? That's right, You just need to make Mr. Zhang feel at ease when I do things, Director Chu said. By the way, Mr. Tan, Mr. Zhang, and Minister Li, do you still have much contact now? As soon as Tan Shahan heard this, she understood why Director Chu thought Zhang Chen was going to be a loser. Tan Shahan followed suit and said, "How do I know about the things between their brothers? Even if they are connected, it is private and will not be known to others." Director Chu said oh twice and hung up the phone. Tan Shahan held the phone and was secretly amused. These people had their own ulterior motives, so they thought that Zhang Chen would move Li Yong out because of this matter. Li Yong is now an invisible pressure for them. On their heads. Let them go without any explanation. Tan Shahan felt that this would only be more beneficial to Zhang Chen. After hanging up the phone call from Director Chu, Tan Shahan thought for a moment. She called Zhang Chen and asked him, "Why did you allow the people who evaluated the company to enter the factory without saying anything?" Zhang Chen said, "What's the matter? Isn't it just that we need an on-site inspection? What's wrong? What's wrong? Do you know whether you agree or disagree with the evaluation company entering the factory? This is a matter of attitude. The attitude determines the final result. Didn't you say you are too lazy to care? Why are you meddling in other people's business? You will ruin the whole rhythm. It's all biased, do you understand?" Tan Shahan kept chattering, and Zhang Chen quickly shouted, "Okay, Tan Shahan, just treat me as an idiot, okay? Is it okay for me to ask them to call you whenever I hear the word demolition? Don't talk casually, watch your actions," Tan Shahan said. Xiao Wu and Xiao Li are now at Genshin Power Plant every day. They and a construction team sent by Lao Tan are renovating the coal warehouse of Genshin Power Plant according to the drawings drawn by Zhang Chen, and there are the construction of the Hangzhou-style women's wear exhibition hall. Zhang Chen would often go there to take a look. Most of the time, he and Zhao Xian would collect information on Hangzhou-style women's clothing. After the transfer of Genshin Power Plant, Zhao Xian had to take care of more than just Lakeside Oil Paintings Museum, but the entire Genshin Power Plant, including the original Hangzhou Industrial Museum, the new Hangzhou-style women's clothing exhibition hall, and the public market. After so many years, Zhang Chen finally called Lu Chengcheng for the first time, but it was not because of the demolition of his Xiaosha factory, but because of the Hangzhou-style women's wear exhibition hall. Lu Chengcheng was the decision-maker and a witness to this exhibition. It was impossible for him to be absent from the museum, including how many decisions made by the Hangzhou city government at that time to support Hangzhou-style women's clothing were formed. Only he knew best. Picking up the phone, Zhang Chen felt uneasy. He didn't know if Lu Chengcheng's call could still be answered after so many years. If the call was answered, would Lu Chengcheng still remember him? After all, he was now in a high position. The phone rang twice and then a loud voice came out, "Hello, who is this?" "I'm Lu Chengcheng." Zhang Chen quickly said, "I am Zhang Chen." He was afraid that Lu Chengcheng wouldn't remember, so he added, "From Hangcheng." "I know, I heard it." "Oh, Mr. Zhang, it's rare. Wait, let me think about it. We finally met at Shanghai Pudong Airport, right? Is my memory wrong?" Lu Chengcheng asked. Zhang Chen said yes, it was at Pudong Airport. "Oh, we haven't contacted each other for many years." "Mr. Zhang, how are you now?" Lu Chengcheng asked next. Zhang Chen said that's fine. He called today because he had something to talk to the leader about. "Okay, Mr. Zhang, tell me." Zhang Chen told Lu Chengcheng on the phone about his plan to build a Hangzhou-style women's clothing exhibition hall. Lu Chengcheng was very happy to hear it on the phone. Zhang Chen said that we still need the support of the leadership. We have no way to obtain a lot of information, including the process of decision-making at that time, and we are not very clear about it. Lu Chengcheng immediately said, "No problem, I will have someone sort it out and send it to you." "Boss, Our exhibition hall also needs audio and video materials. The leader was the decision maker and witness of the Hangzhou-style women's clothing at that time. I wonder if we can conduct an exclusive interview with you, Zhang Chen asked. Lu Changcheng said yes, Mr. Zhang, you can come to Beijing at any time. Zhang Chen immediately made an appointment with Lu Changcheng, and he took Zhao Xian to Beijing the next day. After hanging up the call with Zhang Chen, Lu Changcheng immediately called his then secretary Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan is now the deputy director of the Hangzhou City Government Office. Lu Changcheng asked him to help prepare some documents at the time and give them to Zhang Chen. They sent it over. This matter spread quickly. It was said that Lu Changcheng called to inquire about Zhang Chen. The person who sent the message did not understand why and was not interested in hearing it. As long as Lu Changcheng and Zhang Chen were heard, people took it for granted that it was about the demolition of Zhang Chen's factory. It was said that Zhang Chen wanted to go to Beijing because of this, and this matter became more and more bizarre. Zhang Chen and Zhao Xian arrived in Beijing. Before leaving, Zhang Chen thought about it and called Li Yong and told him the matter. What Zhang Chen thought was that if he arrived in Beijing without telling Li Yong will definitely be angry if he finds out. Li Yong was very happy to receive Zhang Chen's call and immediately told his driver to pick them up at the airport. Zhang Chen, forget it. Let's have dinner at my house tomorrow night. Let's have a few drinks. My wife has always wanted to see you, Li Yong said to Zhang Chen, and Zhang Chen agreed. Zhang Chen and Zhao Xian arrived in Beijing. Li Yong's driver picked them up at the airport. After Zhang Chen got off the plane, he called Lu Changcheng. Lu Changcheng said that he was in the office now and could arrange time for an interview with them. Let them go now. Zhang Chen and Zhao Xian arrived at Lu Changcheng's unit. Lu Changcheng was very interested. He reviewed the entire process of the formation of Hangzhou-style women's wear at that time and the several China fashion fairs he participated in, which started the Hangzhou-style women's wear trend across the country. A business card. The entire interview lasted for more than an hour. Zhang Chen and Zhao Xian made audio and video recordings. Lu Changcheng also inscribed the name of the Hangzhou-style women's wear exhibition hall. At the end of the interview, Lu Changcheng and Zhang Chen said that they had not seen each other for many years and they must invite Zhang Chen to dinner. Zhang Chen had no choice but to tell Lu Changcheng that he and Li Yong had agreed to have dinner together in the evening. No, Xiao Li wants me to do this. I have to go out tomorrow. He can invite you again tomorrow. As he spoke, Lu Changcheng called Li Yong, pushed Li Yong's dinner to tomorrow, and invited Li Yong to come with him in the evening. It was Lu Changcheng's private banquet in the evening. There was no one else except him and Li Yong, Zhang Chen, and Zhao Xian. There was also Lu Qing, Lu Changcheng's daughter who had just returned from studying in Europe. Zhang Chen had been there many years ago. I met her at Shanghai Pudong Airport. Lu Changcheng's wife is still in Hangzhou and has not retired. After Lu Qing came back, she stayed in Beijing to take care of Lu Changcheng. She now works in the literary and art department of CCTV. They are planning to shoot a series about Chinese universities during the anti-Japanese war. Feature films. Lu Changcheng told her that if you want to take pictures of Chinese universities during the anti-Japanese war, it is indispensable for Zhejiang University and the National Art College to move westward. Mr. Zhang has done special research on this history of the National Art College. He knows it best, and he is there. The most complete information saved. Lu Qing therefore followed her father. Thank you to Crush Killer VIP, Book Friend 1507142226076778, ranking third from top to bottom, 2 fishes one above the other, and the reward at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you Lang68, Humor Tribe, Standby Time, Robin Granite, Book Friend 201701130912185553 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1571. Before coming to Beijing, Zhang Chen didn't know what would happen in Beijing. But after arriving in Beijing, Zhang Chen found that he was unprecedentedly busy. Originally, he only planned to take Zhao Xian to interview Lu Chengcheng and return to Hangzhou the next day. Because the dinner at Li Yang's family was postponed to the next night, Zhang Chen needed to stay in Beijing for one more night. And because during dinner, I met Lu Chengcheng's daughter, and made an appointment with her. In the afternoon of the next day, Lu Qing would take their writer to the Wangfu Hotel where Zhang Chen was staying. Lu Qing wanted to Zhang Chen told the writer about the National Art College. Zhang Chen may be one of the few people in the country who has had face-to-face interactions and in-depth exchanges with the old people from the National Art College, especially those who were not well known during their lifetimes. These people are all well known now. They are famous, but they themselves have passed away, and almost no one knows many things about them. Lu Qing discovered such a rich mind as Zhang Chen. How could he let him go? During dinner, Zhang Chen told her about the time he went to Beijing to visit Mr. Wu Guanzhong. Mr. Wu Guanzhong took him to the woods to get a haircut and talked with her. Lu Qing became excited after hearing this and shouted, "Our film is so lacking in such details. Brother Zhang, you must tell our writer all these things." Zhang Chen agreed to her request. They were going to be interviewed by Lu Qing and others in the afternoon. Zhang Chen and Zhao Xian got up in the morning and went to their own Beijing branch. They sat down and their buttocks were not yet hot from sitting down. Wen Wen came again and took them to Nortel to see where they were. Nan and Xiang Nan had lunch together. After finishing lunch, Zhang Chen saw that it was almost time and was about to rush to the hotel. After being interviewed by Lu Qing and others in the afternoon, Lu Qing and the writers were still not satisfied. They made an appointment with Zhang Chen to meet at the Lakeside Oil Painting Gallery in Hangzhou next time. The Lakeside Oil Painting Museum has a collection of many paintings painted by teachers and students of the National Art College during their journey to the West. Many of them can be said to be treasures. For example, the works of Chu Taichun and Zhao Laoqi from that period are simply impossible to see elsewhere. Zhang Chen told them that behind every painting, there is a story, including joy, sadness, and visceral pain. For example, those paintings by Cai Yuanpi's eldest daughter Cai William were created after the merger of the National Art College and the Peking Art College. Due to conflicts, William Tsai and Lin Wenzhong were forced to leave the National Art College. The two of them were in Kunming, with no books to teach and no income. At this time, William Cai was still pregnant. In the next year, that is, in May of 1939, because he was afraid that he could not afford the hospitalization expenses, William Cai did not. She dared to go to the hospital to give birth, but she died in the postpartum mattress, leaving only a pile of paintings and 6 children. Friends helped hold the William Tsai posthumous works exhibition in Kunming. They relied on selling his posthumous works to have a decent funeral. The people who bought the paintings for this posthumous exhibition were actually their poor friends. At that time, most people would buy paintings anywhere. A large part of these works are now in Zhang Chen's Lakeside Oil Painting Gallery. Zhang Chen told them that when Cai William died, Cai Yuanpi was also ill, and no one around him dared to tell him the unfortunate news. Every time his son-in-law Lin Wenzhong wrote to Cai Yuanpi, he would write William at the end of the letter. P.S. Greetings, pretending that William Tsai is still alive. But 2 months later, Mr. Cai finally saw the news in the newspaper that an exhibition of William Tsai's works was held in Kunming. The grief-stricken old father wrote the article mourning for the eldest daughter William on July 13, expressing his feelings about the loss of his beloved daughter. It was so painful that when Mr. Cai Yuanpi passed away, he died calling William's name. Lu Qing and the writer were very emotional. They said that after interviewing Zhang Chen, they found that the materials he provided here were so rich that just one national art college could complete several episodes. Lu Qing even thought that the point provided by Zhang Chen was very good. She considered whether she could make a separate series called Stories in Oil Paintings, which would extend from one painting to the depth of history. After accepting the interview with Lu Qing and the others, it was almost time for dinner. Zhang Chen asked Zhao Xian to accompany Lu Qing and the writers to have dinner at the Wangfu Hotel. Wen Wen sent Zhang Chen to the gate of Li Yang's community. She must ask Zhang Chen agreed to visit their company the next day, and she went back with satisfaction. After Zhang Chen registered at the guard post on duty, he entered the community and found Li Yang's home. He was surprised to find that Sun Ho was also there. Sun Ho had been transferred back to Beijing and now serves as the vice president of their bank's head office. The dinner was cooked by Li Yang's wife Sun Hui herself and cooked with her aunt. It was very sumptuous. Li Yang's son lived in school and was not at home, so the four of them ate together. Sun Hui also drank some wine with them. Sun Hui raised her cup and said to Zhang Chen, "I have wanted to thank you for a long time, but unfortunately I never had the chance." Zhang Chen was surprised and asked, "Why are you thanking me?" Sun Hui also talked about the phone calls Zhang Chen made to Li Yang in the past. She said, "That is the best preservative. Li Yang has told me about it countless times." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "I'm ashamed, I haven't cashed it even once. They are all empty promises and you keep mentioning them." "It's different," Sun Hui said seriously, "your phone call made Li Yang take money very seriously. Thinking about how he can make money with just one phone call, who would take such a big risk to accept bribes?" Although Li Yang never spoke, but the phone call had the same effect. As long as this person takes money lightly, he can easily pass the greed level. Sun Hui is right, Zhang Chen, I will also sponsor one. Sun Ho also raised his cup. Li Yang smiled and said, "Okay, I am the party involved, and I will also participate." The result was that the four of them drank the wine together. Putting down their cups, Sun Hui and Zhang Chen said, "I also want to thank you." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Without this, there would be so many things to be grateful for." Sun Hui said, "I want to thank you this time. You have been with Li Yang for so many years in Hangzhou. Li Yang is a very worried person. When something happens, he just talks to me on the phone. I won't even say it. I often worry that he is under too much pressure and can't bear it, but fortunately you are here." Li Yang smiled and said, "That's right, Zhang Chen, in Hangzhou, you are my pressure-reducing valve. When I am really depressed, I will go to you for a drink or two, and I will feel relaxed after drinking." "That's right, it's really necessary to have such a place where you can relax completely without being alert," Sun Ho said with emotion from the side. "Zhang Chen, you probably can't understand our difficulties." Sun Hui drank with them for a while. Knowing that the three men had a lot to say, she stood up and said to them, "I still have one more material to write, so you drink slowly." He also told Li Yang, "If the food is not enough, you can call me." Li Yang said yes. Sun Hui went to the study, leaving the three of them in the restaurant to continue drinking. The three people naturally talked about Lu Ligan and Meng Ping. They thought for a long time, but they just couldn't figure out where these two people would go, and they hadn't shown up for so long. "Zhang Chen, Lao Ni's matter should be over now, right?" Li Yang asked. Zhang Chen was right. Almost no one mentioned Lao Ni anymore. However, there seemed to be no clear explanation of how their debts were finally dealt with. "What I know is that from Nanjing, the debtors seem to have only received a small part. After Lao Ni's factory went bankrupt, the assets were severely reduced and worthless. The proceeds from the auction were only used to resettle workers and repay the bank. The priority debt is not enough, and society will definitely not have a share of this money." "You mean, these people might still be chasing the Pole and Lao Meng?" Sun Ho asked. "If people show up, it's for sure. They have indeed been looking for the Pole and Mengping. However, it is not that terrible now. No matter how you calculate it, the total debt is only 700 minus 800 million. The Pole company's the situation is good, the Pole is able to repay this part of the debt, there is no need to hide anymore, Zhang Chen said. Sun Ho nodded, and Li Yong muttered. I think it's not as simple as a debt. Including the fact that the two of them disappeared at that time, there must be hidden secrets. They still refuse to show up now. They still have their concerns. Lao Ni's death will put pressure on them, but I think, that's not all. Zhang Chen was right, if they simply owe money, whether it is Mengping or Gangzi, they are not people who dare not face it. I don't think they will even escape. If they escaped at that time, there was another reason. Moreover, there is a very strange thing here, Zhang Chen said, I have never been able to figure it out. What's going on? Li Yong asked. Logically speaking, if it is just to avoid the debtors, there are too many places for Gangzi and Mengping to go, and it is completely impossible for the debtors to find them. For example, they can escape to my hotel in Sanya, or they can escape to Haikan from Lao Xie's place, you can also escape to Songjiang Erhuo, or Qiang's place. If it doesn't work, there is also Mr. Zhang's place in Liaoyang, Lao Xie's hometown. The Pole was there when he left Haikan. If it doesn't work, he can even escape to Tianjin or Beijing where the monkey was at that time. Wenwen and Qian here, they have so many places they can go to make themselves safe, why haven't they gone to places where debtors can't find them? As Zhang Chen said, Li Yong and Sun Ho also thought it made sense. Sun Ho said, if they come to Tianjin, let alone those people who can't be found, even if they bluff and ask them to come here, they won't be able to take them away. What methods will they use, other than calling a few gangsters? Will I still be afraid of the gangsters? Li Yong pondered for a while and said, Zhang Chen, are this Pole and Lao Meng hiding not only from those creditors, but also from you and Jian Fang? Zhang Chen was taken aback and asked, what can we hide from? Li Yong said, Zhang Chen, have you ever thought that you are the unbearable burden for them? Why? Zhang Chen didn't understand and asked. Think about it, given the situation at that time, their own companies were also in turmoil. They would definitely not be able to bear the debt and would be forced to collapse. Gangzi and Lao Meng know you and Jian Fang very well. They know that you will definitely not leave them alone, and will use all your strength to save them, even if you also collapse. And in that situation at that time, you were also surrounded on all sides. If you were to fall in, you might be dragged down. That's why they disappeared completely. These two guys must have thought that as long as they disappeared, they would collapse. If they just destroy their own enterprises, at least they won't drag you down. It's just that they didn't expect that even if they disappeared, you 250 people wouldn't watch their company collapse. You would still come to rescue them, and they were actually rescued. They didn't expect this, and they didn't expect it. Things you know. Yes, I think this is what Li Yong said. This is in line with the characters of these two bastards, Sun Ho said from the side. Zhang Chen thought about it. In the past, when something bad happened to Lu Ligan, he always had to hide it from him. When he wanted to help, he always refused, including the earliest time in Nanjing, when Gangzi and Mengping, how did he try every possible means to distract himself, just to prevent himself from vouching for Mengping. Thinking about it this way, it is possible that Li Yong's words are indeed correct, including that Zhuangzi has never called home, because he knows that only he and Xiao will go to his home, and as long as he calls home, no matter how much he warned her, her mother would definitely give them his phone number. Could it be that the person Lu Ligan was hiding was really himself? Thank you Lao Chantang for the tip. Thank you to Lao Chantang, it's not the impossible world, Guandian Electrical and Mechanical, Book Friends 202004162146453553, and book friends 12021110220769 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone.